But like, when did you know, like, all right, I'm going to be an NFL football player?
My second game in college, literally. I end up playing the rest of the second quarter, the third quarter, and half of the fourth. In that time, I rushed for 389 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Welcome to another episode of Bussin with the Boys. I am your host, Will Compton, my co-host, Taylor Lewan. The boy is down somewhere in the jungle in Mexico. We got the fellas in the back showed up today. JP, Mitch Carsley, and his boy Dave and Buster. Awesome jam-packed episode today. We have Marshall Faulk on for an interview. So if you're watching right now, number one, thank you guys for your support. Always watching, always listening. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, please make sure you are subscribed. Leave comments throughout the episode. And if you're listening on audio, make sure you're following and subscribe to those channels as well. And if you're subscribed to all of them, congratulations, you are a tier 1 and officially one of the boys. In this episode, again, Mitch, he does a phenomenal job of putting the chapters. By the way, people in the comment section are like, hey, the chapters aren't showing up. Thank you for that accountability for Mitch Carsley. I had to hit him up. He had to reach out to somebody at Barstool. It could, because he's like, I filled them out. I wonder why they're not happening. And then all of a sudden they come out of nowhere. But that is thanks to you guys. But he does a great job with the chapters. So if you're here for the Marshall Faulk interview, we talk about the greatest show on turf, his time at San Diego State, how Nebraska fumbled the bag and didn't offer him, and they wanted him as a cornerback and not a running back. His time in Indianapolis playing with Peyton Manning, getting traded to the Rams, the business stuff in between that kind of pissed him off and rubbed him the wrong way. The climb with the St. Louis Rams and getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Also in the episode, in this intro, we're going to be updating you guys with the spring tour stuff. We're going to be talking about April Fool's jokes, the best April Fool's jokes, our tier talk for April Fool's jokes, and also the little girl, Cerulean Bell. She turns 2 this week, so your boy's got a little list of dad tips that I've journaled the last couple of years on to help any new dads coming or the dads that have been in the trenches thus far. We'll have those dad tips for you. Before we get into the intro, we bring you our presenting sponsor, the one, the only, the Chevy Silverado. Bussin' with the Boys is presented by Chevy, and this is a Chevy truck podcast. Chevy trucks are the greatest trucks ever built, and our good friends at Chevrolet have been a big part of the Bussin' family, and even in our personal lives. Your boy, he rocks the ZR2, and that thing is a monster. Chevy Silverado, longtime awesome partner of the show, a truck with commanding and unstoppable grit, legendary capability, and dependability too. So find out for yourself, like so many of the boys out there. Head to Chevy.com, check out the Chevy truck grit, build your own Silverado, and check out what current offers are out there and available during the Chevy truck season. For do-it-yourself projects to off-road trips, off-road adventures, to tailgates, whatever your thing is, it all starts with a Chevy truck. Enjoy the episode. But welcome to the episode. Right before we got on this episode, I was talking to Mitch. Apparently, he's been celebrating. He lost his intramurals playoff game. Is it flag football or two-man touch?
It's flag.
Flag football. He lost the playoff game, and literally not even 12 hours later, the next morning, he's drinking espresso martinis, celebrating, I guess, failure.
I wouldn't say we were celebrating. I mean, I got my buddy Dave in town, so we got to show him a good time. You don't think I have homies that come in town that watch the game? When I would play and then we'd lose. No, my boys would be right there next to me. Hey, bro, they would be drinking, they could do their thing, but I knew that we had to focus on the next week. You apparently don't have that. Well, that was the end of the season.
Fair.
So,
that's a fair point.
And at the end of the season, it's kind of like, all right, we had a good season. We had a good run.
Lick your wounds for about 2 weeks and then get back in the gym.
Yep, and then we start another league next week.
Dave, did you play? Did you participate in this league?
I did. I participated in the loss. It was my first game in a while. It was good to be back out there, get the good energy going, be with the boys, playing ball.
What positions?
I was playing center and linebacker.
Center and linebacker. I
was just the guy.
Nothing of value to offer offensively other than just tossing the ball.
He was like a good check down.
I was a check down guy. I'm not going to do well. I'm not going to burn a safety, but you hit me in the flat, I'll put my shoulder in your chin and we'll keep it moving.
Okay. Damn. I see you rock with some cool friends, Mitch. That is surprising.
Why is that surprising?
I'm teasing you, bro. You're a guy's guy. You know that. You're wearing our spring game championship shirts, Battle of the Boys. What's up? Oh, the live show. Live show this week in Nebraska. We will be in Lincoln, Nebraska at what's the theater called? Our producer does not know, and neither does myself. It's somewhere downtown. You know?
Yeah, I would like to get ahead of something. Give you all a week in advance. I will not be at the live show. For those of you purchasing tickets, I will not be there. I have my engagement party back in Greenville, so I will not be there. Continue.
And for everybody wondering, we did not get the invite to that engagement party. JP's like, hey, I don't think I can make this trip to the spring tour. My engagement party's happening. It's like, you kind of know where you fall as a friend. I guess it is just business with this man.
That's a lie.
I know. I do hate that you're not going. Nebraska's like
The best spot.
Clearly, I'm biased, but I do. I enjoy. It's so much fun. I love going back to Nebraska. And on Friday, there's going to be a coaches clinic. Bill Belichick will be in attendance. He'll be doing he'll be speaking at the end of the coaches clinic. But I'm kind of getting like I kind of want to be at the clinic so I can just listen to everybody kind of talk ball and everything else. I feel like there's a void that's starting to fester up a little bit more personally about being outside of ball and being removed. And I'm kind of getting the itch of like, you know, wanting to, like I'm asking Coach Rule, what is your meeting schedule with the players? Because I would love to like sit in on the meetings and listen to some coaching and try to get some like just like be in it. You know what I mean? I kind of like miss it. And another, like off of that too, a new pod I've enjoyed that I know nothing about. I know nothing about the game of basketball, but I'm a big fan of JJ Redick and his new podcast, Mind the Game of LeBron James. I've listened to those couple episodes, and really I've just listened to the front end of the episodes where he goes over the terminology and kind of the X's and O's of playing the game and everything else. And it's just giving me a little, it's giving me that itch to like want to be in it a little bit more. And honestly, to the point, and I would love to know your guys' take on this as well, who people watching, leaving a comment to let me know your advice, but how people would feel like if I kind of did like a terminology, did some whiteboard stuff. Because the problem I've always had with like doing the X's and O's of football for everybody else is like JJ and LeBron, they get the copyright stuff. They get to use the footage. Like I don't think we're able to use the footage of the NFL in any capacity, or you kind of get nixed on YouTube. But if we're able to use the way JJ does such a good job, like presenting and opening up and transitioning and just the production level. He's somebody I've always kind of followed to, to get tips on. He does such a good job communicating with everybody and like teaching the game. And I feel like it'd be really cool just from a perspective of whether it's defense or he sits with LeBron and basketball too. You're able to kind of know every position 1 through 5, somebody like JJ. But if I were to, whether it's sit with a safety, a corner, an offensive lineman, a tight end to kind of give all of the different angles of, say, like beginner fundamental X's and O's. I just think it'd be cool. What would you guys think about that?
Yeah.
I would say
in your expert content opinion.
I think it's cool, and I think that we definitely should, like, to me, watching JJ Redick and LeBron James do it together is awesome because LeBron James is at least a top 3 player of all time. Mm-hmm. Doing this piece of content with JJ Redick, who, I mean, obviously had a great career, but at the end of the day, he's just another guy that played in the NBA.
But he was still, he's so well known because of his college years, and he played like, 12 years in the NBA? So.
For sure. But in the history of the NBA, JJ Redick's not a name that's going to be, it's not like some crazy name. Mm-hmm. So I would say, as you're thinking about it, and I know like, if I'm JJ Redick, when he's coming up with this idea, it's probably crazy in his head, like, man, it would be sick if I could get LeBron to do it. So I would say, sit in your seat, you think of a guy that's retired right now, it'd be sick if Tom Brady would do it.
That would be sick.
And I think it's achievable.
Yeah. Well, what I think JJ's done so well at is, as he's grown, he's obviously, I'm going to say better, but not as like a disrespectful thing. I think he's in the 1% of like 2 professions, right? Or 3, I guess. You got the podcasting world where he has his own business there. He's got the media world where he's on ESPN, the basketball world where he's in the top 1% of that. But he's done so well in his post-basketball career to where he stayed in such an X's and O's part of the game because he goes viral from being on ESPN and being like upset over fans talking about this. Like, do we care about basketball? And, all the intricate details of basketball because he's obsessed with that kind of stuff. And I feel like he's done a great job of establishing himself there to where he has that credibility And I guess that's just maybe like knocking myself down, but I feel like LeBron's known who he is. Like me, I feel like, yeah, does Tom Brady follow me on Twitter? Yes. But to sit there and to get in something like that, I agree with you. I think that would be incredible because I think what's happening for JJ or what's happened with him, now you get LeBron because you know you're going to get millions of views and everybody's going to tune in because LeBron doesn't just do anything. And so he's sitting one-on-one with JJ talking through stuff. That's where they kind of have the footage and everything else. Maybe the Tom would be a play because he's
I'm just saying, if you
Brady.
go for it, I would encourage you to go big.
I love that. And that fires me up.
Yeah.
Because you are right. I'm thinking of like different avenues because a quarterback would be the right move. Say it's like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady. Boys, if you're listening, I would love to talk some ball with you. But yeah.
Go big.
You're right. What's the saying? Shoot for the moon.
Shoot for the moon, you'll land amongst the stars.
Yes, sir.
It's our light, not our darkness, that most of frightens us.
Yeah.
Come on.
I appreciate that. And it means even more because you're in that polo, coming fresh off church for the Easter.
Man, I'll tell you this, though.
What?
I had this shirt on inside out all of church. And I had to get...
And nobody noticed?
No, that's what pissed me off. And I had to go. I went to the bathroom.
Hey, for everybody listening, JP, he doesn't cuss either. He's got a little half word in there. You could tell he was upset when he says that.
Well, dude, I went to the bathroom towards the end, and I looked in the mirror. I was like, no shot. I couldn't see my buttons. I was like, oh no, I can't go back in there because I know the people behind me probably saying stuff like, hey, you see his shirt? So I waited.
Nudging.
I was in the very back for the rest of the service. Then finally I walked over to my friends. I actually saw Walker Zimmerman.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Nashville
Shout out
SC.
the boy Walker.
He was walking by with his kid, and he was like, oh, what's up, man? How you doing? I was like, good, man. You won't believe what just happened to me. He's like, why are you standing out here? I was like, shirt was inside out the whole time. Just now realized it. I was like, nobody said a word in there.
Walking up on you, you're just smoking a cigarette. Hey, man, you good? What you doing? You don't know what just happened there, man.
So, yeah, that's why I'm in this polo. Never again.
Never again. But yeah, and for that last conversation, would love to know what you guys would think because I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I'm almost like itching to get into some more football content and like trying to figure out like how to do it, especially if we'd be able to use like footage to break stuff down. And I don't know if it's like remember when Orlovsky would be a lot of fun to sit down with.
He would be good.
He would be really good with that stuff. But when he was I was seeing his thing last week where he was giving flowers to Peter Schrager and then McAfee on the McAfee show. But he would just record like his iPad. Like I wonder if that's something where we would get in trouble doing that. I'm not
Baldinger.
Baldy breakdowns. But again, he's somebody that works with the network. So I just get curious if that's like you kind of like get a pass for doing something like you get the copyright stuff or you're allowed to do it because you're like on staff in the media. Update with the spring tour content just to like let you guys know how we're going to be releasing this stuff because I know we were at Florida State last week and we had some awesome conversations with Coach Norvell. He was a lot of fun to sit down with. We sat down with Braden Fisk, Peyton Patrick, and also DJ
Uyunglele.
Uyunglele?
Yeah, maybe it's Uyunglele.
He was fun to sit down with.
I also think it's Patrick Peyton.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Peyton Patrick.
Oh, my fault. My fault, PP. But those were fun conversations. Those interviews are going to be released next week. So if you guys are watching now, what we're going to do is Coach Norvell, he's going to be our main Bussin' with the Boys interview. And then we're going to be dropping those interviews with the players the day before. And is it the day after? Or is it all going to be on Monday and Tuesday? Mitch, do you know?
I think we still have one more episode before.
No, but we might push that one. We might push that one back.
Okay.
Or we might just do Norvell that same week because what I don't want to do is I want all the Florida State stuff to come out when it all happens. Yeah. Because I know next week, just to tease or just to shout out who we're going to have next week, we had Michael Bisping in Vegas as well. And 300 is next weekend. So, right?
It's 2 weeks from now.
Okay, yeah. So that'll work out fine.
Yeah.
We'll do, because we want to do Bisping right before UFC 300. He was a fucking blast. Talk about charisma. He was a lot of fun to sit down with, all of his storytelling. But ultimately, all of our spring tour content is going to be coming out every week starting next week. We did Florida State last week. That will come out next week. And we're doing Nebraska this coming weekend when we're there on April 5th and 6th. We're going to be sitting down with Coach Rule. We might have a quarterback sitting down with the boys. A big interview coming up. And those will release the following week. So we'll get that stuff rolling out week after week. Florida State first, Nebraska second, Oregon third, Alabama fourth. And for those with the live show stuff, again, everybody last week who came to the meet and greet had a fucking blast with you guys. Thanks for showing up. And again, apologize about all the live show stuff, how we had to pull the day before. That was a very bad move on our part. We should have let you guys know sooner. As soon as we found out, because it was kind of like we didn't know until like that week leading up to it. It was kind of up in the air about the live show and then sponsors that were involved with the live show. And then, hey, it'd be good if Taylor is present. And then I was like, okay, if we can move this show, one of these shows being the Florida State one, if we can move that to like a Nashville one for when the boy does get back, it'd be a lot bigger because I feel like at times we have a big following. I mean, people love that we came out to Florida State. But again, like last week, whether on Twitter in the episode, like selling like 30 tickets, we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot because a lot of tours, if you think about it, say a comedian or I'm ignorantly going to say like a local band, like you plan your tour around where your biggest audiences are at first. We plan our spring tour around getting into new markets with college football. So Florida State as an example, Oregon as another example. Alabama's closer to Nashville, so I'll be curious to see how that live show, how that turnout is. But we base our stuff around the content shooting at these colleges, and where we shoot ourselves in the foot is we're thinner audience-wise when we go to different corners of the country. So we didn't have our live show in Florida State. We moved that to Nashville. We're doing one in Lincoln because that's obviously your boy. And then in Alabama, we'll see how that one turns out. So we have those 3 live shows. Nebraska this week, April 5th. We have Alabama. That's going to be April 23rd, April 24th. One of those dates. And then the Nashville one, we're trying to figure out the space we're going to use, and we will be announcing when we'll be doing Nashville. So all those live shows will still happen. Shout out to the boys who showed up at Florida State last week. We had a lot of fun, drank a lot of Twisted Tea, and had a good time with you guys. And so that's the update on all the spring tour content. What else do we have? Should we hit you know what I didn't do? I didn't hit that Chevy read. But we have DraftKings. The Greens at Augusta will soon host golf's greatest players, and DraftKings is bringing you closer to the action with a major offer to celebrate the tournament. This week, all customers can deposit $10 or more and receive a ticket to DraftKings Millie Maker contest for a shot at the $1 million top prize. Playing is easy. Assemble a team of golfers while staying under the salary cap, then sit back as your players score points. I want to get in on some. Now that I've gambled in March Madness, and I've started placing bets now in baseball, and I follow the data. I trust the data with Stephen Shea in the NBA. I'm 0-1 there. Again, everything I touch seems to lose, and Garrett is not here. But congrats to Alabama. I did bet the Clemson money line to make sure that Clemson would not go far. JP, sorry about Clemson. But again, download the DraftKings app and use code BUS, B-U-S, to play free for a shot at the $1 million top prize only on DraftKings with code BUS. The crown is yours. Do we want to get in our shout out? No free shout out. Mitch, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I can.
JP, do you want to kick us off? I see Mitch back there.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out the Espresso Martini, Mitch.
I got one. I actually do have one.
Okay.
Because the past 2 days, I usually don't have allergies, but now for whatever reason, my eyes they've been itching. You saw how my eye was getting swollen in Florida State for all the farting.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were filling that room up with gas, bro.
Worth it. I'd do it again.
Yeah.
But now my eyes have been itching a lot. And last night, I just had a good, healthy, slightly painful sneeze that just felt so nice once I finally completed it. Yeah. And I had boogers kind of hanging out my nose after it, where you got to wipe it off a little bit after. But yeah, just no free shout out to a good hard sneeze that clears you from the sternum all the way up into your nose.
Bro, and sometimes it's enjoyable when you just do 3 sneezes in a row.
Yeah, but then if you hit 4, it's annoying, like to everyone else.
Right, but if you're kind of sitting chilling on your own,
Yeah.
you're kind of enjoying like, okay, this little sprinkle coming to my nose again. Like, why am I sneezing so much? And you just boom.
Look up at the light.
Boom. Yeah.
How many sneezes do you think you get before people can stop saying bless you?
I think you got 2.
Yeah, that's how I feel. How do y'all feel?
I mean, my mom will go on like when she sneezes, it's not ever just once or twice. It's like 6 or 7. So you just kind of let her have that like a sneeze.
Attention seeking.
Sneeze attack.
Those are the attention-seeking sneezers out
Attention sneezing.
And we'll just wait until she's done sneezing, and then we're like, bless you. So, but because we
when she hits 1, you're like, hey, is this going to be one of those?
No, it's always one of those. So we kind of learned that.
So you just say, here we go.
Yep. Mom, you do your thing, and we'll bless you when you're done.
Stand back.
You remember that little, people used to say like, hey, when you sneeze, you die for a second, like your heart stops beating. So that's why they say God bless you, because you're like coming back to life.
No, but I like that.
You like that, huh? I think I was in like middle school and somebody told me that they're like, hey, you know why they say bless you, right? Like God bless you. It's like, so it was when you sneeze, your like heart skips a beat, like you die for a second and you come back. So I was like,
hey, but so say it again. Say it again. What do you say when I sneeze?
Bless you.
Bless you, right?
Yeah.
Like BLESH.
I mean, yeah, if you're like, yeah.
That's how I
bless
say
you,
it.
Bless you. But I feel like it just runs together. Bless you. Bless you.
It just has always caught my ear.
What was
I say bless you.
But yeah, you give people 2. It's like, bless you. They sneeze again. Bless you. You kind of say it like, you bring it down like, all right.
Move rooms if you're going to do this again.
Yeah, attention seeking. Like, okay, what's going on right now? If they say it again, you just got to say, hey, that's enough.
What's going on at work?
Okay, bless you again. All right, come on, man, shut up. You're around with somebody enough, you just get upset with them. Sometimes I'm like that with Charo. She'll like hit a third one. I'm like, all right, wait, are you good?
Watch TV.
Yeah, you need me to pull the car over? Fuck. Mitch, what do you got?
I'm going to go with the low-hanging fruit. I don't know if you're shy when your boys come into town. You just kind of, we had a good time. It's been a minute since I've seen Davey, and this trip kind of happened like on a little bit of a whim, but he stayed up with us all week, was couch crashing, and then we were able to hit the town pretty hard Friday night and Saturday night. So, and it's always a good time being with him. And
how do you take care of you, Dave? Did he feed you each night? Like, what were we working with at the pantry in the fridge?
Out of respect, I did do a grocery run because I was there all week. So that's the least I could do. At least I'm keeping the boys, pantry stocked.
You were stocking him.
I was stocking him.
You noticed and you're like, hey, is everything okay? Like, I'm going to go
snack
shop.
Selection pretty much blows. So I really had to upgrade him in like the granola bar category for sure. Popcorn, get a little skinny pop in there. White cheddar, aged white cheddar. It's like crack.
That's a good pull.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Pantry suffers like that, Mitch? Because you don't even eat actual meals, right?
No, like it's bad.
How old are you?
25.
I mean, I guess that's...
That'd be 26.
That'd be 26.
I guess that's like, I feel a little on par. But I mean...
I just got to take the time to go to the store and pick some good shit out. I just get the necessities like my peanut butter, my jelly, my granola bars for lunch.
Your Ritz crackers.
Yeah, my Ritz crackers. I need to get vegetables and fruit and
meat.
Well, I have meat.
What kind of meat you got?
I got some of that chicken. Got some ground beef. But one thing I get a lot is Italian sausage. Is that you mean?
Yeah.
I'm staying stocked up with the meat. I need to make a Costco.
One bite, everybody knows the rules.
Yeah, that sausage, boy.
But I told y'all I started that little concoction. So I'm kind of taking a little bit more care of myself.
The morning oats.
Yeah.
He's got the morning oats coming out of the fridge. He's talking about how he's been taking better care of his body. And then within the next 20 minutes, his Panda Express arrived.
That is what happened.
Dave, you got a shout out? Hey, I've got to say, you've been crushing it on the bus thus far, really? Man. It feels like you've just been one of the boys. Hey, everybody watching, I've just met this man.
I'm a listener, man. I'm a huge fan of you guys. Shout out, no free shout out to the bus, man. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Let's fucking go. Let's go, man. I don't have one.
That's not going to cut it.
I know it's not good enough. Shout out, no free shout out. April Fool's jokes.
No, bro.
Rue turning 2?
Probably the sack race.
Yeah. Shout out, no free shout out to sack races. Mitch, run the clip.
Hello, Frankie's little girl.
As you guys saw, I leave everything out on the field during competition. Honestly, my wife had to stop me. I wanted to get in against the kids because I saw them do the first heat, and I was like, all right, sweetheart, hold my drink. She's like, babe, like, you're not, like, don't go out there on the kids. Like, you don't have to do everything for content. I was like, okay, you are correct. Those facts are true. And then we get out there, the adults, Taylon's like, we're going to do an adult sack race. And I see some of the boys get out there. I'm trying to get Chandler out there. He, of course, pussies out. But I see Randall Cobb and his sons were winning the kids ones. And I was like, I gotta make a stand here. We can't let the Cobb sweep the board. Now, on that race, everybody thought Randall Cobb won. That was a photo finish. I think I give myself the nod. If you saw the clip, I go down hard. I start off, I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? There's 5 of us sitting here. I'm just going to go quick. How's my low back going to do in this situation? I'm kind of going out here dry, no warm up. And so I start going, and once we get halfway through, I realize, like, I can fucking take this thing home. And so I start picking it up and going, and I'm just lunging and reaching, and bro,
You get hard.
Bro, I hit hard. Whoever was filming, I think it sounded like Bree Chandler. She's like, oh my God, Will. Oh, but yeah, shout out to sack races, man. By the way, I was either, because I was texting with Randall, I don't know if he commented this on the Instagram post or texted me this, but he was like, hey, sack race at Beer Olympics. Maybe you do a sack race at the end of Beer Olympics, like do it in kind of the finals, like part of that heat.
Is he coming?
Yeah, I told him to come.
He needs to come on the bus.
Yeah, he's down to come on the bus. We're having some fun conversations about the Jets, the Packers, because he's been on the Jets, the Packers, Houston, Dallas. So, I think Randall would be awesome.
Probably has really good Rodgers stories.
Yeah, Zach Wilson stories. Yeah. He's part of all that.
Yeah.
When Will was telling me about the sack race yesterday, I asked him, I was like, oh, it kind of looked like you won. Did you win? He was like, they're like, I think, but they were saying Randall won or something. So we're like, hey, man, they were all there, but he was mad. They said Randall won for some reason. I don't know.
I stayed quiet about it, but I did ask Charles, like, hey, you thought Randall won that? Like, I could have swore I got him. He's like, yeah, I mean, it was close, babe. It was just sack race. But yeah, shout out to that. We can let's tier talk. It is, when is this? This drops on a Tuesday, which is exactly April 2nd. Let's talk about April Fool's jokes. We're gonna tier talk our favorite April Fool's jokes on the internet of all time. And we're gonna start with Mitch right after we talk about Sport Clips. Your guys' favorite. Your hair may grow fast, but after going to Sport Clips haircuts, you'll wish it grew even faster. That's because Sport Clips has the best seats in hair, and that may or may not be because they happen to be right in front of TVs playing sports all day, every day. We know that watching sports while getting a haircut sure beats watching a reflection getting a haircut, which is why at Sport Clips, every day is clippers and curveballs, tops and Hail Marys, and even waves and wickets if you're into that kind of thing, Dave. At Sport Clips, you can check in with the pros in men's hair and totally check out with pure uninterrupted relaxation. So come watch an endless stream of sports on TV while getting an awesome haircut. Sport Clips, it's a game changer. All right, now we'll take you can do the little whatever, Mitch, we'll just take our little break and look up our favorite. How long have we been going?
28 minutes.
Perfect. This is fucking God, Will, you did it again.
Please leave that part in there.
All right. So we're doing our tier talk, best April Fool's jokes. It's going to be kind of a mix. We have some ones that we remember on the internet. We're going to talk about a couple classics that we've done ourselves, some that we've seen, some that we've heard about. We will kick it off. Mitch, are you ready to do yours? You ready to do your list? All right, Mitch. Best April Fool's jokes.
All right. So I'm going to start with an honorable mention. This is one that Like one of my teachers told me that he did in high school or college for like his senior prank. They got 4 pigs and like let them into the school, and they numbered them 1, 2, and 4. So when they found like the 4th pig or the pig with the number 4, they were like, "Where's the 3rd one?" So kind of like a little. Though there's actually only 3 pigs, but it's numbered up to 4.
Yeah,
so kind of a little something like that. That's why it's an honorable mention.
That's a good little prank. Anytime you can do stuff to the school, man. Like if there's any, I don't know how big our high school audience is, but hey, you get a couple bangers here.
And then my tier 3 will, because this one, it takes a lot of effort to kind of do this, and like you're kind of an asshole if you do it, but like you saran wrap the toilet. So like there's like the layer of saran wrap that's clear right over like where you sit and pee.
Yeah, that was one of mine.
And when you pee on it, like you're peeing on the saran wrap, it just sprays pee everywhere. And you're just immediately pissed off because now you got to clean up piss. So that's
and you're saying that's at the urinal, or are you talking?
No, that's on like the toilet. Like we could do it to.
You would do it under the seat?
Yeah.
So if you sat and took a shit, you're just sitting on.
Well, no.
Shitting on.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah. What the fuck? Starts hitting your taint a little bit. You start smelling it. Oh my God.
So that's tier 3. And then tier 2, I feel like this is a classic. Is it Star 69 or Star 67? It's
one of those. It could have been both of them.
The like no caller ID,
right?
Literally prank calling people. That one's just a classic.
Did you have a go-to prank call?
I didn't per se because I was kind of nervous to do it, but I didn't. Just kind of.
We would try and like just make our own story based off ones that Roy Mercer. I know I've talked about Roy D. Mercer before on the podcast. Roy D. Mercer, this like incredible. He's like a radio guy who always did like these incredible pranks. Do you know who I'm talking about? Roy D. By God Mercer.
It sounds familiar.
You got to get you. If you don't know who Roy D. Mercer is, you are.
Yeah, I got to tap in.
You are not tapped in, bro.
That's why I said I got to.
Yeah.
But then, so my tier 1, this one, it's a really quick one, but when it happens to you, your stomach immediately drops. It's like when someone texts you or like comes up to you, he's like, "Yo, did you mean to post that?" And you're like, "Oh shit! Like, what did I just post something I shouldn't have?" Like, maybe you were
nice little quick one
talking to somebody like that. Maybe things were getting a little freaky or something, and you
hey, Mitch got the photos out there.
And somebody comes up to you and you're like, "Yo, did you mean to post that on your story?" And you're immediately like, "Fuck! Like, what did I just do?" And then you like go and like everything's there, and you're like, "Oh, you're such a." But that immediate anxiety that hits you is like your brain just starts going everywhere. So that's my tier 1, and that is my tier 2.
Love that.
When we did that to Travis.
Right. Hey, you meant to post that last night on your story? He was playing it off, but he was like, I was like, "Hey, I'm just fucking with you." He's like, "Man, I was thinking in my head, like, yo, did somebody post something when he was out here in Nashville tied in you? Hey, you mean to drop that on your story? I saw you kind of got it off there late this morning." He's like, he was just trying to play it cool, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just fucking with you." Dave, you got something? You want to get in the mix?
I'll get in the mix here. Tier 3 is kind of a classic one. Like you cover your buddy's car or something in Post-it notes, and they got to go through and they blow all over the place. Then they can get banged for littering if they don't pick it up. So it's a total inconvenience for him or her. And my tier 2 just would be like me and my boys. You got to do it to the very irritable teacher, but you hide like important items that they need in the classroom for the class period. Delay it all. I don't want to have to watch this PowerPoint. Let's screw their clicker. Like just totally inconvenience her in her day. And then a tier 1 is actually something I did to a roommate. My roommate loads our Keurig the night before, just so he could pop the button, whatever, have his coffee made. Well, I replaced it with a Papa John's garlic pod one time. And he wasn't paying attention. You know, he sets his coffee, lets it go. So the boy had a sip of just straight garlic water and said it was horrible. So
that's solid.
Give him a shitty start to his day. Yeah. No, it was definitely a very.
He's got to be a little distracted to where he's not looking.
It's premeditated. Yeah. You know, I had to be down there and made sure I was having a conversation with him so he didn't see it or any of that. And it worked out. It worked out in my favor.
Nice list. That's a good list. JP, what do you got?
I'll do my honorable mention will be just anytime your friend falls asleep and you just start stacking stuff on them. I don't know why. I always think it's hilarious. They fall asleep and you just put like 10 pillows on them. And one time in college, one of our friends fell asleep and he fell asleep face down and we spread peanut butter on the back of his leg and we're like putting crumbs that were on the ground in it.
Oh.
And this guy, he was nasty, man. He went to the gym and he didn't notice the peanut butter until he got to the gym.
Like until he had to change?
No. He didn't even change. He woke up, went to the gym, and then he texted us, "Did you guys put peanut butter on my leg?"
Dang, you just now finding out?
Right.
Or like when you take a marker and just, obviously draw dicks on your boy's face.
Yeah.
I love cock.
Mess like...
I actually have a photo on my phone, Mitch. I'll give it to you so people can see a reference. Sorry, Logan.
Yeah. The middle school sleepover pranks were brutal. My tier 3 was, I think, whatever Mitch was saying. Saran wrap. So you can saran wrap the toilet, or you can saran wrap the doorway. The person's like at head legs, so they're walking and they just smack the saran wrap, which is a fun one. And then there is this tier 2 autocorrect. You can change, like say whenever you type the word "the," you can change somebody's phone to where it could say like,
oh yeah,
yeah,
like something that like is part of their language in texting.
Yeah,
you go on their phone and change the word to.
So say if you do it to your parent who's super conservative, you'd be like, anytime they say "the," it'll say "I love Joe Biden," and so they'd be like, "Hey, what's the?" And why does this keep changing to this?
Happy Transgender Day.
Right. Oh yeah, that is today when we're recording. A prank we did on my mom. I think I mixed these up. This is actually tier 2. My brother, he's super savvy with phones. And so he was able to text my mom from an unfamiliar number. And he was texting her as if he was somewhere in our neighborhood and was dialed in on my mom. And he's texting her and it's like, "Why is there like a white truck in front of your house right now?" And we're all in the room with my mom knowing my brother Sam's doing this. And she's not saying anything at first because she doesn't want anybody to panic. And you just see her on the chair. She gets up, goes to check. She's like, "This is so weird." We're like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Nothing." And then the next text is like, "You should sit back down." She's like, "Okay, guys, this is really freaking me out." She's like, "Here, look at this." And then she's showing us the text messages.
Are you guys playing it up?
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
guys still like,
we're like, it's probably Alex, my oldest brother. Like, it's probably nothing. Like, he's probably here because it's around Christmas time.
Yeah.
She's like, this is just really weird. And we just got her an Apple Watch. So she was setting up her Apple Watch during this time. So she's thinking it has something to do with that. And so my brother Sam, who's orchestrating this whole thing, every now and then he's texting her, "It's all connected." Like, your watch is all good.
Yeah.
And so she's like, "They keep saying it's all connected." And then she's like, the message will say, like, "You need to put your dog inside before something bad happens. It's all connected." She's like, "What's connected?"
Are you guys Are you guys laughing at this point?
No.
Or were you guys kind of spazzing, maybe looking out windows, being like, trying to figure it out with her?
We're like, "Mom, you got to stop texting this person. Like, they're just messing with you." And then where we couldn't hold on any longer was I got my brother's phone that he was texting it with. And I was like, "Mom, let me see what's going on your phone." I walk over there and I take a photo of my mom, like this angle, me to you. And then I give the phone back to my brother. He sends her that photo. She said, no, this is too far. How do they have a photo of me? And we start dying laughing.
God damn it, Mom. Like, I just took that photo. You should know it's us.
So now
That's a good one.
Now we consistently just hit her with the "it's all connected" randomly.
Yeah. Just a lifetime of callbacks to It's all connected.
And then honestly, I'll leave it at that.
That last one was your tier 1.
Yeah, tier 1.
I mean, that's a good fucking prank. Mine, it's like you were saying before we did the tier talk, but you got the classic rubber band around the what do they call it? Little faucet gun.
Yeah.
The little hose, the little faucet hose. That's an all-time one. My honorable mention is be like, like when you get one of your boys and you just like, we were at school and you guys probably done this, Mitch, I'm sure you did it, but you just kind of find the weakest one and you like grab him, you like undress him naked and like throw him in the shower.
Yeah, totally.
I just wanted that for a potential clip. Like I just run that out there.
Yeah,
we did do that, but
but it wasn't top 3.
He wasn't naked. He was in his boxers. Kid. Oh man, I can't wait to send this one to Kid because we did like.
His name is Kid?
Yeah, his name was Kid. Kid Fields. He loved basketball from Jason Kidd.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you ever do the one in like the locker room where you get like a cup of water or the guy just got out of the shower and you just throw baby powder on him and they got to re-shower?
No, but that's solid. That's a nice
We would do that.
Locker room prank.
That was that happened to me as a freshman in high school. Like the guys would just, like you would get out of the shower and then they would throw baby powder on you and then you had to re-shower. It's just a major inconvenience and you're just covered in baby powder.
My tier 3, I got a couple good internet ones. We can run you guys these videos, but the first one is when there's this like airport prank to where on April Fool's, this airport would take somebody that came in the airport and would have them printed on a newspaper. So if they came in there at security, they're getting this newspaper printed out and they're doing a green screen of like an interview, say like breaking news. So-and-so, they're dangerous and armed, stay away from them, report them if you see them. And so the person would come through security and they would sit and the guy who would have the newspaper would try to intentionally find a seat and put up the newspaper in front of them. They would like kind of glance and look at it. I'll let Mitch run the clip.
Damen und Herren, wir bitten Sie kurz um Ihre Aufmerksamkeit. Die Behörden suchen folgende Person. Weinlich, ca. 1,65 groß. Die Gesuchte trägt eine hellgraue Jacke und einen großen Schal. Wenn Ihnen diese Person auffällt, verständigen Sie bitte umgehend das Flughafenpersonal.
Und bitte! Guten Morgen, meine Damen und Herren, ich begrüße Sie zu den N24 Breaking News. Die Polizei bittet um Ihre Mithilfe. Dringend gesucht wird diese Frau. Sie befindet sich seit gestern Vormittag auf der Flucht. Die Verdächtige ist ca. 1,65 Meter groß, hat dunkelblondes, lockiges Haar und trägt eine helle Jacke. Die Flüchtige gilt als unberechenbar und äußerst gefährlich. Bitte versuchen Sie nicht, die gesuchte Person festzuhalten oder gar anzusprechen. Für Hinweise zur Ergreifung der Verdächtigen wählen Sie bitte die unten eingeblendete Nummer. Wir melden uns wieder zu den Hauptnachrichten zu vollen Stunden und bis dahin noch einen schönen Tag.
Ich bin auf der Zettel. Die Behörden suchen folgende Person. Der Gesuchte trägt einen grünen Pulli und hat eine rosa Tasche bei sich. Männlich, ca. 1,80 groß. Der Gesuchte trägt eine beige Hose, einen lila Pulli und eine braune Jacke.
Dringend gesucht wird diese Frau. Sie befindet sich seit gestern Vormittag auf der Flucht. Die Flüchtige gilt als unberechenbar und äußerst gefährlich.
Guten Morgen. Sind Sie gestresst? Sie sehen so gestresst aus. Da hätten wir was für Sie.
Oh mein Gott.
Wollen Sie mal ausprobieren?
That's my tier 3. I felt like that was like an all-time video of an incredible prank. My tier 2 is the teacher one I was looking at before we started this. There's this one to where they preface it. Again, we'll show the video, but they say that the teacher, there's a classroom policy. If your phone rings out loud, you have to answer it and it's on speaker. And essentially, there was a pranker on the other line knowing that you would have to answer and put it on speakerphone. And it was with this chick. And it's like, hey, we're with the pregnancy center, local pregnancy center. Your test came back positive. Like I know you said the dad, he's out of the picture. We have resources for you. And the teacher starts, I mean, obviously you're like, oh, fuck, this is like a policy gone wrong. Because you can see him put the paper over his face, like he's like freaking out, kind of like laughing. You got people kind of like awkwardly laughing. And my tier one, the best prank that I've pulled off is my April Fool's joke 2 years ago with Rue being born. She was due on on March 27th. Her due date was March 27th. So she was like a week late because she was born on April 3rd. April 1st rolls around and like, my wife, she's having trouble sleeping and everything else. I'm kind of sitting up early in the morning, and I'm just like, yo, it's April Fool's. Like I should just do this fucking baby prank, like because everybody knows I'm about to have a kid and everything else, and we're all hyped up about it. And so I put out a tweet at like 7 a.m. After laboring all night, she's finally here. I can't believe this perfect little one is ours. With the white baby emoji. Willa Erlene Compton, born at 6:32 a.m., 4/1/2022. You are my world. It's a photo of this black baby. And what's crazy, Stephen Che, of course, he responds, congratulations, buddy. I hope everybody is doing good. I said, we are all good. She's a daddy's girl for sure. And Taylor even hits me up. Like, hey, congratulations. Blah, blah. I was like, bro, I'm fucking around. Like, what makes you think I will make that post and put it on social media and not like already have let you know that Rue has came in? And he was like, dog, I'm so like thankful. I'm like thinking to myself, like, did Will really just post a photo and like he hasn't told me yet? Like, you know, on some friend stuff. And but that's my tier one, the black baby prank. Cause it was going so nuts. Like it gets into the oh, you're racist crowd. Not crowd, but it's just like the audience that doesn't know you or know your humor or anything else. And they, want to make everything about race. But even though the joke was about, like, damn, you better get a double look at that. That's not his kid. But that is my a tier list for April Fool's jokes. Speaking of that, Rue, she turns 2 on April 3rd. And I was thinking like, yo, for any expecting dads out there with daughters, Yo, great call, Mitch. Producer Mitch. I should read an ad before we go into this. Not twisted question. ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter. Let ZipRecruiter help you conquer the biggest hiring challenge, finding qualified candidates. See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Just go to this exclusive web address right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Bussin. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Bussin. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. But on my way over here, I was thinking like, because your boy, as you're listening to this episode, we're doing a little family vacation in the Bahamas for a few days before we go to Lincoln, before we go to Nebraska. I know, right? Flex. And I was thinking I have a list of dad tips for all the expecting fathers out there or young dads who might be in the mix. Here are some tips that I've written down since Rue has probably turned like 1 year old, when she can start understanding a little bit more. So probably around that 12 to 14 month range. All right, here we go. The power of the secret. This is a great tip for fathers out there, really parents in general. I'm trying to help my wife out in perfecting this craft. But the minute you can teach them about telling them a secret, like whispering to them, and they're kind of like caught off guard, like, why is dad whispering to me? And I'd be like, Rue, do you want dad to tell you a secret? And she was like, come over. She'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, no, you got to whisper. And she'd be like, okay. And then whatever you want to get them to do, they're all ears. So she might be starting to cry or panic a little bit. This is real life experience, boys. And she's spazzing out. You want her to take off her clothes to get her in her jammies, but she's pissed and run around. She wants to jump. She's got the zoomies. She wants to have fun. You immediately just go to, hey, do you want me to tell you a secret? Come on, Mitch. Be like, hey, do you want me to tell you a secret? You'd be like, all right, come here. You got to whisper. You got to stay quiet. And then they lean in and you're like, You're like, hey, go over to mommy and take off your clothes for us so we can get you in your jammies. It feels weird that I'm whispering right now on the podcast. But immediately, they'll go from freaking out to they are all in on executing the secret. So that is the power of the secret. No matter what, you have to whisper, you have to get them down to your level, and I promise you, they will go from 100 to fully focused and ready to execute whatever that secret may be. That is one in the toolbox for you guys. This is for dads. This is for dads as well. If you're home, do bedtime routine together and ultimately take turns who does story time. Like my wife and I, we do a good job of we do our morning routine together and we do the bedtime routine together. So if I'm somebody who's reading the stories at nighttime, this is not only good for being a dad, this is also good for being a partner, being a husband, is you do the routines together and then you alternate who does story time. So that way, me around my daughter, she's used to seeing your old man, because you never want to get behind the chains. You never want to get behind the sticks to where it's like they're all mom everything. They're all, mom feels like she's just always in the trenches because she's the only one who can handle any type of chaos. Like the baby always wants mom and never dad. This helps you be around at all the moments of the day, whether it's the morning routine, the nighttime routine, all of in between. Also going off that, eating dinner as a family. Charles, she's done an incredible job of holding us accountable to do dinner as a family. I myself would like to have been lazy at times, and then I'll just, hey, Rue, if I might want her to, in my head, because I'm lazier, allow her to watch, say, Miss Rachel. And then I would want to go put the food in front of her and allow her to eat and watch TV. That is a massive no that Charles never wanted to do. She always wants her to, hey, no screen, like limit screen time. She gets like around an hour a day of like watching Miss Rachel or watching something, or whether we do movie night on Fridays. And Charles done a great job of making us, or setting the expectation that we do dinner time like as a family. So we make her plate, whatever the wife cooks. Maybe your boy's on one of them factor meals, whatever it is. We're always sitting at the dinner table eating together. And on the dining room table, I would highly recommend Ryan Holiday's Daily Dad. Each time while we're eating, Rue now she even tells Dad, she'll be like, Dad read, and I'll read whatever the daily word is from the Daily Dad. I highly recommend the Daily Dad from Ryan Holiday. Pizza Friday and movie night. You have your annual traditions for holidays and everything else. I would, your boy, we love to do Pizza Friday and movie night. I've obviously been a big proponent of Pizza Friday. Last week, my no free shout out was Home Team Pizza. That got your boy hooked up with a free pizza and a free 6-piece of those Buckeyes and garlic bites. Pizza Friday and movie night. Rue, every Friday now would be, hey, Rue, you know what day it is? And she'll be like, Pizza Friday, and doing like a weekly little family tradition that gets them fired up. Give them chores. You make them a part of your tribe. This was something I wrote down that I feel like is very good. So after dinner, it'd be like, let Waffle out of the pantry, because we'll make Waffle eat in the pantry. So that way she's not, she loves to eat anything that's dropped on the floor. And sometimes she's gotten some bad shit in her mouth to where she's like drooling or vomiting. So we have to make her eat in the pantry. But one of Rue's chores will be like, let Waffle out of the pantry after dinner time, or any mess Rue makes with her toys, she knows she has to clean it up. Or if you have trash as a parent, Dad's great tip, you have trash, you be like, once you teach them how to go throw the trash away, your trash is now their trash. A great chore for them to do. Interrupt them and tell you love them. That's a sweet little gesture. That's just a nice little breakup. I learned that one on Instagram. Exercise before everyone wakes up so you can be a part of the morning routine. I know myself, I've had a bad week of working out, meaning it's been non-existent. I haven't worked out this week. But anytime I feel myself in a much better mood, a much better way when I do working out first thing in the morning. So I'll try and work out before Rue wakes up, so that way you're able to be a part of the morning routine. So if you're able to be part of that morning routine, and you gotta, if you don't have to leave for work too early, I base it around all that stuff. Workout, morning routine, then I'll come hang with the boys at the bus. What else do I have? Another little queasy one. I feel actually weird saying this in front of you guys. Love on their mother in front of them. I feel like that's really good, especially for the girl dads out there. You get to like set a standard and kind of you should be the role model in front of them for hopefully what they look for one day in a spouse, and not some deadbeat, dysfunctional ass clowns out there. That's it. That's what I got. Another one that I'm just now thinking of that I was using today is going off the power of secret, the power of being like, hey, can I ask you a question? Because sometimes, say I'll go home, right now it's Sunday afternoon. I'll go home. If mom puts her down for her nap. She's like, she almost expects mom to be there when she wakes up. Or if she's not wanting dad for some reason to wake up, I'll like come in and she'll be like, for whatever reason, they'll just be weirdly fussy that you might be there or they're just upset when they wake up. You quickly just immediately, hey, Rue, can I ask you 2 questions? And you immediately get their attention. Boom, first one, the one that I always default to, how was your nap? Was it good? Did you have a dream? Or who did you dream about? And they tell you a story, but that gets their levels. If they're fucking weirdly having an episode or just spazzing out for no reason, you simply interject and say, hey, can I ask you 2 questions? And for whatever reason, that makes them feel like, oh, dad needs me for something. Oh, mom needs me for something. So those are my dad tips on my first 2 years of parenting. Hopefully there's dads out there. If you're listening and you're like, oh, he's on some game, or you have another dad tip, drop them in the comments. Would love to know. Would love to build this dad club together. But those are my dad tips, boys. Any that you guys might know about from your old man, or something that you might have had as a kid that you're like, hey, this would be a good, any tip of advice, student of the game, I'm always down. JP, I feel like you usually have some. You usually just have some for me, just sometimes just out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, that boy JP hit me.
That one video I sent, oh my gosh.
That's a great one, where it was basically like,
you're here to be memories for your kids.
Yeah, that was a banger.
Which is incredible.
Run the video, Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
yeah, I mean, I think I'm better with like ages 5 through kind of like probably 18.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the young kids, because my fiance, she has some young nieces. I don't know. I have a pretty easy time getting into like the mind of a little kid, so I can play the games with them. And it's like, if you're playing like freeze tag, or, you know, like if they touch you, then like you can't move your arm. But then the only way you can move your arm again is if they touch it. So then it comes back to life and they start freaking out. But I think something probably good because I feel like dads maybe sometimes have a harder time connecting with their kids. It's just like you just get on the floor with your kid, and like that's where you play, because that's where they're at. And anytime
getting on their level.
Yeah, you go to their level, and I feel like it makes everything easier. I don't have kids, but
yeah, no, you're gonna crush. You'll crush it. Mitch, you'll crush it too. Dave, I barely know you, but I feel like you'll crush it. But no, for sure. Oh, we got your boy. We'll get you acclimated between that 2 and 5. Because JP came over yesterday, so we had to shoot this. We had to shoot this stuff for Shell gas station. Shout out, no free shout out. And this morning when Rue woke up and we're like, you know, what'd you dream about? And she she'll just rattle off everything from her memory. Like her grandparents, like she'll just start. She names everything, and then she'll be like, Jappy, you're Jappy.
Let's go.
And then she'll be like, when we went downstairs and I pushed in the car and we played like Chase or something like that, and she was like, Jappy. I was like, yeah, you played with Jappy yesterday. And I was like, oh, he's not coming today. He's not coming today.
Dang.
You'll crush it though. We'll get you acclimated between 2 and 5, but you're spot on. And honestly, I feel like when you say like dads that can't connect with their kids as well, to me, in my opinion, I feel like it's like just one of those ingrained societal things that's kind of like, you know, dads aren't necessarily in the mix for all the little things that mom does all the time.
Right.
Like I know, like talking to my dad, it seemed like he didn't really change many diapers.
Yeah.
So I knew my mom was always like, she did everything, right? Or if something's going on, it's like, oh, tell your mom or something like that. Versus like my wife, she does a great job holding the line on like, hey, I'm in this thing for a partnership, not I do all the motherly roles.
Yeah.
In her opinion, it's like bullshit that like mothers are better nurturers than men. I think like mothers are better nurturers than men. But I also think the truth to that is like, yeah, I don't think there's always that effort put in from the male side of like being on their level and being intentional with doing stuff and making sure you're around in all of those moments. So that way, you know, you're just part of their life.
Yeah, it's like I forget what the exact quote is, but it's like kids are the only people on this earth that like strive to have a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Like of the 7 billion people in the world, only your kids are ones that are like all in on wanting to be a part of your life.
Yeah. I feel like it might, like Jordan Peterson might have a clip like, you're their number one relationship. Like all they want is a relationship with you.
Right.
Which is true. I said, and going off the video that you said, like, we're here for their memories. There's another video I saw that's like, they say that kids can't remember anything before 4. So they were talking about the gift is them being there for you and your own memories up until then, and embracing it. But all the dad shit, bro, it is the greatest thing in the fucking world. It does get hard at times. It very much does. But it's been so fun. I can't, knock on wood, trying to get more.
How do you feel about like technology and stuff when it comes to kids?
I don't know. You're saying like allowing them to do screen time or allowing them to use it?
Well, like one thing that I see a lot and it kind of pisses me off because I remember like growing up and stuff, like the parents will, like they'll be, for example, when you go out to dinner and they just give their kid like an iPad or their phone or like a little play pad or whatever, and they're just locked in on this, and like you're just essentially like on a date with your wife or whatever. Like when I would grow up, like when we would go out to dinner, we would play hangman, or like we would get the coloring sheets, and my dad and I, or my parents and I would we would color, or we would play paper football and like flick it and stuff. Like I hate when you go out to dinner, you just see little kids locked in on a device. Yeah. And like not having that like conversation and stuff like with your, like hanging out with your parents and stuff.
No, I agree. I mean, Rue, she can't play hangman right now.
Well, no, I'm just saying like,
flick football. But yeah, getting the coloring sheet. We like obviously, like whether you're around friends, and sometimes you just learn things like you don't want to do, like as your partnership. Like some parents, they do we've known friends where they have their iPad, they have headphones, they're locked in and they're just obsessed with the screen or like playing the game, or they get fussy, so they just give them an iPad. Rue, we don't have her doing any, like, man, dude, for Rue, it's literally like Bluey or Miss Rachel. It'll be like a little before dinner and then maybe after dinner, depending on like how she is. Cause usually we try to get her to go outside. So that's when we can like throw the ball with Waffle. But I mean, Charles does a great job. Like when we're out and doing stuff, like Charles has been somebody from after doing the like maternity leave stuff, like not wanting to, being like intentional with like, hey, if I still want to go do these things out and about, like I'm just going to bring Rue, versus basing everything around Rue's schedule. It's like we have the structure around Rue, but bringing her to all that stuff, like when we brought her to Italy and everything else, like getting her in activities, like for socializing, like she does gymnastics, she does ballet. Obviously, I dropped that sick highlight tape on ballet. What else does she do? She does swimming lessons. So she'll be busy like 3 out of the 5 days of the week. And then on weekends, it's like in the morning times, we'll always go out to eat, or we always do something, whether it's make breakfast and make her a part of it. Yeah. But as far as like screen time and everything else, it's kind of like, it's one of those things that I feel like you figure out in your partnership with like how you want to raise them. Cause I do feel like Charles and I try to be very intentional about the things that we do with Rue, to where when we say we take her out to eat, like, yeah, she's not really. The only time we would have her look at a video on the phone, and she likes to watch herself, whether it's when she did trick or treating, that video was hot for a while, or I put the highlights of her of ballet, so that way we can do her hair. Mom can do her hair, braided or whatever. You just play that in front of her. But yeah, as far as iPads, phones, and stuff like that, we don't like, I guess, allow that. Or if we're on the plane and she's sitting in the middle seat, we have like a backpack with like, whether it's stickers, putting on the books and some interactive play things that she does. So it's not like I have like a strong stance. Like I think that's ridiculous. What do you got, JP? Is it my shorts?
No, I was just taking a photo.
Okay. You got like, oh, we'll tweets from this spot. Anytime the phone goes up and JP's behind the phone, I'm like, oh fuck, what's about to happen? But it's not like I sit there, different strokes for different folks. Like I know every parent's doing their best. But I know like we do try and think about screen time. Like we were around Bakhtiari, and they have their little one. They're like, oh, we don't do any screen time. And so it makes me think in my head, like, oh, should we go from whatever screen time we do to 0? And I wonder why this. And you get caught up in comparing, which I think sucks. But no, the stuff that we do, it's not like, again, to answer your question, yeah, we're not big proponents in all the screen time stuff. Yeah. And if she does do it, we hope it's like Bluey has their like 10-minute episodes. Miss Rachel's like very interactive, like learning education.
It'll be way tougher when they're older. Yeah, I think that's the tricky screen time.
Yeah, which it's kind of like, I don't necessarily know. I think it's just as you go, you try and learn and make the best decisions you can, because we grew up differently than everybody else, right? But at the same time, the world's ever evolving, and so is technology. So technology is going to be a part of their life. And so I feel like it's just like trying to be intentional about what styles of technology they're using, how they're using it, making sure they're not getting into things that they shouldn't be. Like you see the stuff Quiet on Set coming out, and about how, and just the predators out there and everything else going on, like being in their lives to where you're keeping them or trying to guard them or keep them from making bad decisions. But ultimately, I think it's like, trying to instill like your core values and doing all this routine stuff, like really being intentional in their lives. And if they tell you something, being like, oh, I'm really glad you're talking to me about this, or encouraging conversations so that way they feel like they can pick your brain and not feel like they have to hide stuff or have to do different things. It'll be interesting, and that makes me nervous. But I don't know.
Florida is trying to sign a bill. And maybe DeSantis did sign it, but it would be so hard to enforce. But I like the sentiment of it. But no social media for kids aged like under 15. It's like illegal, which I think would be super beneficial.
Yeah. There are a lot of like pros to that, and I would be interested to hearing like the arguments against it, because I'm sure there's like fair points. But in my head, we know how we were when we were young, and if we had all this access and everything else, we would love it and be obsessed with it. But there'd be a lot of things that just wouldn't be good for us. I feel thinking about how I was back in the day, like just who knows what I would have been up to on social media that could have played against the places we are now. I have no clue, but yeah, it's all fascinating with that technology stuff, man. But let's get into Marshall Faulk. How long we been going, Mitch?
Hour 15.
There we go, hour 15. This will be this was longer than anticipated. I thought I was gonna have to just come up with different things, but we
still need Twisted.
Still need Twisted. Oh yeah, what's our Twisted question? Our Twisted question brought to us by Twisted Tea. Twisted Tea is a refreshing hard iced tea made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol, full of flavor and very refreshing. Twisted Tea feels fun and celebrates extreme fandom on game day. It is the perfect alcohol beverage for game day, whether tailgating in the parking lot, watching at a bar, or watching with friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted with the boys and grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. This question comes to us from Mitch Carsley, which comes to us from
Dylan Guy 44 on Twitter.
Dylan Guy 44 on Twitter.
Who would you rather try and survive 2 hours in a gladiator-style ring with? 20 Stephen Hawkings, but their chairs go 30 miles an hour, or 10 Hellen Kellers with pistols?
And just to educate me, Hellen Keller's blind and deaf, yeah?
Yep.
With pistols?
Yep.
What does Stephen Hawking have?
He has.
I think Stephen Hawking.
I think so.
It's 20 Stephen Hawkings, but their chairs go 30 miles an hour, so they can hit you.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, I'm dummying him.
Yeah, because to me, it's like you got to take one blow. And right when he's about to approach you, because all 30 of those chairs are coming at you, you jump.
There's
put
20 of them.
Yeah, but you jump on the first one and put a shoulder right into his chin. All those other chairs are going to come in, and these wheelchairs are going to have to figure out how to back up and turn around. I'll be sleeping them while they're trying to figure out how to maneuver.
And you knock one wheelchair over, they're out.
Yeah, literally just, they all ran into each other, start picking them up and flipping them on their back.
30 miles an hour is pretty fast.
But once again, they're all going to try and collide. It's not like they're going to, unless they're trying to scheme. I'm still going to sleep all the Stephen Hawkings, bro.
It's only 8 miles per hour faster than Tyreek Hill.
I think 10 Hellen Kellers.
Yeah, but they got pistols. Like
they can't hear you.
Maybe they're shooting themselves.
They'd be spraying.
But maybe they'd be shooting each other though, JP.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all never been in a shootout.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking, we'll be drop. Well, yeah, I think I would drop 20 Stephen Hawkings before they can get typed out whatever their strategy is when they communicate with each other.
Because even if once they hit you, I could take the hit.
Yeah. You're talking about what, 20 mile an hour or 30?
30.
Yeah.
30 miles an hour is pretty fast.
Yeah, but again, you don't believe in yourself against 20 Stephen Hawkings?
I'm just saying,
You like your chances with 20 pistols being fired?
10. It's 20 Stephen Hawkings or 10 Hellen Kellers.
Yeah, but all it takes is one to hit you, bro, and you're down.
You could get hit by a chair and you're going to be down.
Yeah, but
you're not going to be dead, though.
Yeah, you're not going to be dead. It's like once they hit you, then what are they?
They're just going to keep running you over.
It's not like they're at 30 miles an hour immediately. They're going to have to build and have some acceleration. They're going to have to maneuver out of their little short space. And I do well in tight spaces. I played 10 years.
I fell off a car going 20 miles an hour, and
same.
Fell or jumped?
My girlfriend at the time started driving, and I just playing a joke, and I hopped on the back of her car.
Oh,
she forgot I was there for a second, and then sped up, and I started sliding and hit the pavement.
Yeah, but that's you hanging on to a car. Imagine they're taking off 30 and you fucking got Stephen Hawking. You're behind him choking his bitch ass out.
I would hit the little swerve, and then I'm on the wheelchair.
Yes, bro. You sleep one of them, pull him off the wheelchair. You got the chair.
Roadblock.
Yeah. I'm doing the give me Stephen Hawking. Give me Stephen Hawking in a massive octagon. 20 of them.
Even the afterlife, Mitch.
All right, on to if you've held on this long, thank you guys for supporting the boys and watching along. Make sure you're subscribed, commenting during the episode. Here's Marshall Faulk. He was an incredible interview as a young Missouri boy growing up. Obviously, I was pulled in a lot of different directions. Whoever was winning was usually who I was rooting for. And when the Rams became the greatest show on turf, everyone was a Marshall Faulk fan. So this was an incredible interview. It was really fun to get to sit down with somebody that you grew up kind of watching, who was a superstar in your area at one point in time. So without further ado, Marshall Faulk. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Marshall Faulk.
Let's give a round of applause for Marshall Faulk.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolute legend. You just flew in just now, yeah?
I got in, earlier today.
I grew up an hour south. I don't know if you're familiar with Festus or Farmington, Missouri.
Yeah.
But you're a legend, bro.
Thank you.
You are a legend, and it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Right on, man.
Right before the show we were talking, and you saw the Nebraska hat, shout out to Big Red, but you mentioned that Coach Osborne, was the first coach that said you couldn't play running back.
First coach, and he was honest. First day I was there, you sit in with him, and this before you go to your position meeting, and he asked, what position you think you can play here in Nebraska? And this the early 90s, Nebraska rolling.
Yeah.
They rolling. Yes. And the only reason I took a visit because Mickey Joseph, who's from New Orleans as well, had just became the quarterback there. And I thought, because I'm right in between Mickey and Vance.
Okay.
Vance Joseph is Mickey Joseph's younger brother.
Right.
So I'm in between them two, and I was like, man, if I go, I get a year to play with Mickey, and then I'll play with Vance, because I thought Vance was coming there, but Vance ended up going to Colorado.
So did Nebraska offer?
They did,
Okay.
but I had to play corner.
Really, man?
Yeah.
I mean, you were an athlete.
Listen, man, Coach Osborne is a legend.
Yeah.
When he was at Nebraska, they churned out so many athletes, so many first rounders. So I mean, he knew what he was talking about. I was a pretty good corner, but I had a love for playing running back. So it's a little different.
Was all your offers kind of split? Like your teams wanting you to play corner, teams wanting you to play running back?
Most of them wanted me to play corner.
So that's when is that probably the biggest reason you?
Well, no, because on offense they were lazy. And I'm gonna tell you what happened after. All right, so I played quarterback, receiver, running back, but on offense I was just a cover corner. So they couldn't tell what I played on offense. And right after that happened, about I'm gonna say right around maybe 94, 95, they created the position called athlete. Mm-hmm. So when you recruit a guy, you recruit him as you just get an athlete.
Yeah,
because they realized, damn, if we'd have got him in here. Found out he could play multiple positions, but back then they had to recruit a position. You had to play a position. You couldn't just be an athlete.
If Tom Osborne would have came in and been like, "Listen, you're a hell of an athlete. We see you play all over the place. Utilize you in ways no one's ever seen before." You going to Nebraska?
It would have been easy. I mean, it would have been an easy decision. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nebraska was like cream of the crop. Right. Early 90s.
It's a good reference too. Cornhuskers.
I mean, 88, 89, 90, they were dominating fools.
Mm-hmm. Man, hey, that's got to feel good to hear, dude.
It does feel good to hear. It sucks that we didn't, you know what I mean? Like Osborne,
it happens.
Cornerback.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
I went to the University of Michigan, so I have to ask, did Michigan offer you?
No.
Who's in your top? Who's in your top?
But Michigan wasn't recruiting, and they weren't recruiting in the South like that. Michigan, Notre Dame, they had that idea of they wanted people who played in cold weather. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of, they didn't understand the difference in speed in the South versus the North.
Who was your top 3 and why'd you choose San Diego State?
San Diego State wasn't even in the runnings. It was Nebraska, Miami, and Texas A&M.
So why San Diego State?
I took a trip out there. I was like, I want to live here. This is nice, man. The plain land. You take the 163 down. You're riding. I'm like, I've never seen anything this beautiful. And the only thing I could think of, yes, I get to spend maybe 4 or 5 years out of school, but I get to live here the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And so I live in San Diego.
You still live in San Diego to this day?
I still live in San Diego.
What part of San Diego are you living in?
La Jolla.
La Jolla?
Yep.
So when I was training, I would be in Leucadia, Carlsbad, Encinitas area, dude. And
awesome.
we'd stay like on the bluff, hang out, like just the way of living out there. Like Southern
totally
California, you really just can't beat it, dude.
Yeah, I fell in love with it. My trip out there, I fell in love with the city. The school's so open, and it's just like, and then it was like a melting pot. Mm. Like I mean, and I had never been around any Asians, no Mexicans. I was like, there's everything at this school. Like the diversity was unbelievable.
What was the process like going into the draft? Because you were number 2 overall, right?
Number 2
overall. Talk about that, because obviously, like running back now, if you got somebody in the top 10, it's like, oh, that's a big leap. Like back when you were a running back, like the running back was the premier spot that you drafted at. You signed guys, like you built around the running back.
Guess what we didn't do in college? The running backs that got drafted early that you see going 1, 2, 3. Guess what we didn't do in college? We didn't share the backfield. You watch college now, you got 3 and 4 guys playing. I'm like, who's the guy? Mm-hmm. You can't tell who the guy is.
Yeah.
And so if you don't step up and demand, look, hey, I want to carry the ball 20, 25 times a game, and then you're not going to get it. The position, and I'm saying it, the position has been devalued by the guys who want to share time. Even in the pros, these guys come out. Man, I never wanted to come out of the game. I didn't want somebody taking my spot.
Right.
And now it's like 2 carries, like they'll let somebody else in.
Right.
It's got to make you appreciate a guy like Derrick Henry then.
Yeah, well, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. Christian, don't come in for me.
Right.
I actually read recently, I think there was just an article on it about CMC talking about how he's connected with you in the off seasons, or you giving him advice, feedback. I think it was like you and LaDainian Tomlinson taking care of your body, just kind of being like Christian's kind of like that style that you were, where you can do everything. You can catch out of the backfield, you can line up at receiver, you can run the ball. Talk about meeting him and how you've been kind of, I guess, a mentor during his career.
I mean, I wish I could say I was a mentor. The kid is such astute. And obviously, we know who his father is. The pedigree is there. But what I love is, in today's game, very few guys reach out. I got it, I know. And the fact that, he'll call and he'll ask certain things. And he's not asking for pointers on how to hit the hole. And he's like, how do I, longevity, you played 13 years. How do I do this? How do I do that? What did you change about your workouts when you got to this age? What did you, the things that you want to know to like next level, which is, how to maintain your body, how to take care of yourself. And that's what he's doing. It's not about what happens on the field, it's about what happens off the field. And he's smart enough to understand the game is going to be played. You just got to be out there to play it. No the best when you have talent and you see it, the best ability is your availability. Mm.
That's with going back to San Diego State, when you're having all these big offers and you just go to a place and the location to you is like, this is where I want to be. Like, was there any family members that was like, listen, you have an opportunity to go to the NFL here. Are you sure you want to go to San Diego?
You go to
State?
Miami.
But you can go to Miami in the 90s.
But listen, and I'm gonna I'll be honest with you guys. On my high school football team, in 4 years, I probably won like 6 games. Like we sucked. Like you couldn't tell. But everybody we played, like you could, like I scored on when we played against the really good teams. Mm-hmm. Like I wasn't on a good team, so it wasn't like you saw in me, oh, he could go to the NFL. It was like you people didn't know.
Right.
They didn't see it. So when I got to San Diego State and all right, now I'm not playing running back, receiver, quarterback, DB, kicker, punter, return kicks, punts. Like when I walked on the field in high school, I didn't come off till halftime.
Yeah.
That is so. You was kicking and punting?
Oh yeah, I did everything. And when the kicker was okay, I held for him. So I did everything. So they didn't really get a chance to see. So I get to San Diego State. And now it's just like, that's all I do is play running back? Oh my God, this is easy. Are you kidding me? I get the rest while the defense is out there? Oh man, I'm gonna be fresh.
Easier.
Way easier. It was like night and day.
So if you didn't know in high school, like for me, I tell the story that I got offered by Utah State going into my senior year, and that was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the NFL. Like when for you, where you're like, okay, I'm for sure maybe not gonna have the success that you eventually had, but like when did you know like, all right, I'm gonna be an NFL football player?
My second game in college, literally.
First game didn't go well.
First game, I didn't play much.
Yeah. And
I got in. It was like we played. I think it was like Long Beach State, and I got in, and I had a couple of good runs, and then I, tried to do a little too much and did a spin move, and the ball flew in the air.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God! And then the next game, I don't play the first quarter. First play of the second quarter, our starting running back was the punt returner. He gets hit in the thigh and he's out. And coach grabs my face mask. And the only thing he says is hold on to the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so from right, hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
So I end up playing the rest of the second quarter, the third quarter, and half of the fourth. In that time, I rushed for 389 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Who were y'all playing?
Literally, people get mad at me because after that, like I think after that year, they shut down the football program. It was the University of Pacific. Literally,
you ended entire
literally.
Program.
That's what they say. You shut down our program.
We shouldn't do this anymore. That is nuts, man.
Yeah.
All right, we interrupt this episode with Marshall Faulk to bring you Dave & Buster's. Every Monday and Thursday after 4 p.m. throughout the tournament, Dave & Buster's is celebrating with all-you-can-eat wings and a $10 power card starting at just $22.99. Terms and conditions apply again. All-you-can-eat wings and a $10 power card starting at $22.99. If you guys do that math, about $13, you're getting all you can eat wings at Dave & Buster's. Terms and conditions apply. Back to the episode. What was it like going from, where'd you grow up exactly?
New Orleans.
New Orleans to San Diego and then to Indianapolis.
All culture shocks.
Yeah?
All culture shocks. It's like, I'm talking night and day, man.
What was,
I remember, before we get to that, I remember going to the combine. So I leave San Diego, I fly to Indianapolis for the combine. It's cold. Like it's like this time of the year in Indy. And it did just had like one of the worst blizzards. And I never been in snow. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my God, it sucks. This is awful. I would never live here. With the second pick, Indianapolis coach take Marshall Faulk. I'm like, oh my God.
Take us through your thought process. Probably pumped second round or second overall, but at the same time you're like, damn, I got to go to Indianapolis.
Man, I was just like, that's all I was thinking about was the winter time. I was just like, man, this how cold it was when I was there. So I was happy that we played indoors. But at that point in time, they didn't have an indoor practice facility.
So you're out there in the wintertime?
Yeah. My first year, we didn't have an indoor practice facility. Man. So it was it wasn't as bad as I thought. It's so different when you like in college how you see things to in the pros. Like you grow up real fast when you're a rookie. Halfway through the season, it starts to get cold, and you're in the locker room and you're in the huddle, and these grown men. These like grown ass men. And they're like, like my job's on the line. Hold on to the ball.
Yeah.
So you're like, man, this this guy got to feed his kids. Man, he got like the game for some people. It's not really a game. It's like it's their livelihood, and they take it serious. And that's like a whole nother transition. Seeing the game for what it is, but trying to make sure that it's still fun for you because the fun can go out of it real quick.
That's got to be like the hardest thing though, is realizing how much of a business it is, especially like high school. Like all your boys, like you win in 6 games your entire, but every single Friday the boys are hyped up.
Yeah.
After, I don't know how it was for you boys, but hey, it's like how we're gonna find a 12-pack of beer after this, chase a couple girls around. Like
same thing.
But you're all kind of like doing your thing. Then you go to college and it's like a little more, obviously more serious. But like no one's married, no one has families. Like you're still like all as a community going and doing the same thing across San Diego.
You're all chasing the NFL.
Yeah, and you're all chasing the NFL, and you get to the NFL, and it's like now you're 21 years old, and there's 32-year-old dudes, 3 kids,
grown men.
They go, they do their business, and they leave. And you're like, yo, you wanna hang out? And they're like, nah, dog. What are you talking about? I'm gonna go see my family.
Yeah.
Like, how difficult was that for you to like, kind of like realize and keep the fun when it was so business?
Yeah, you obviously like you got to have the right support system around you, because a lot of the dudes in the locker room, they're not. When it's over, you're not going to play Madden. Like you're not going to hang out.
Yeah.
And your priorities start to change, and you start to understand how much of a business it is, and you have to start. Yeah, the game is fun, and you're getting paid a lot of money, and it's a business, and they expect you to do your job. And if you don't do the things you're supposed to do, the fun can go out of it really quick.
Yeah.
Really quick.
How do you feel like your professionalism and like acclimating yourself to the league as a running back developed over time, especially as a younger guy? Like you were alluding to, talking with Christian about like maintaining your body and everything like that. Like how did you develop as a pro in the early part of your career?
What I told him and the things that I say to him, Emmitt Smith told it to me. Thurman Thomas told it to me. Ronnie Harmon, like these old heads, if you ask, the veterans will tell you what to do. Like they'll give you the information on how to have a long career and how to last and how to continue to be productive in your latter years. It wasn't a hard thing. Actually, what is hard is early in your career making sure that you during the off season you remain in shape. You don't go party with your boys. Late in your career, making sure that you value the time that you get to train and don't, I got to take my kids here. I got to go here with the wife. The time that we get, those 13 years that I played, it's like a blip in my life. Like it was such a fun time, but when I look back at it, I was like, man, that seemed like so long, but it went so fast.
Yeah.
So cherishing in the moments that you have and the responsibilities to making sure that you are the best that you can be. It's a responsibility that you got to take on, because when I'm in the huddle, you know what I want you to know when you're looking at me? That you can count on me. I want you to know that I did the things that I was supposed to do in the off season to be here, and I got you. And I need to know you did the same thing.
Yeah.
How was it difficult for you to ask for that guidance and help from those older guys?
No. No, I'm the youngest. I got 5 older brothers. I'm the youngest of 6, and I learned, I learned by watching them and asking them, and I didn't have to repeat. They paid the dummy tax. I didn't have to pay it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Being the youngest, you kind of have to go about it like the humble way, because if not, your older brothers will humble you.
Yeah. We're both the oldest. Go ahead, Bob.
No, did you have one?
Yeah, I was gonna say, was there ever like somebody you reached out to for help that was like, you got to figure it out for yourself?
Nah, because I was always selective. What I did was I made sure that I formed some type of relationship with the person before I engaged and asked for help. And I think that's what you do. You just call somebody up and say, hey, you don't ask them about their life. You don't find out about anything that motivates them. You don't find out if y'all have any commonalities. You just ask them. I mean, that's kind of cheesy. You call somebody and you get to know them. And that's what Christian did. He said, hey, man, I'm a big fan, huge fan of yours. Always loved your game. Like we had a conversation about where I was at in life and what I was doing and how things are going before we got into anything about ball.
Yeah.
And I think there's just a respectful way to go about it.
Who was that rival running back that you always just kept your eye on?
All of them. Every back that I took, I didn't care where you were drafted, how good you were. I wanted to be the best running back on the field. Actually, I wanted to be the best football player on the field, period. That's what I always thought about. I never looked at it as a position. Like I always looked at myself as a football player. Like I wasn't a running back or receiver or slot. Like I didn't want labels. I was like, I can play the game. I'm a football player.
Right. What was I going to ask? It was, so tasting the business for the first time, like you get traded to St. Louis. Before you get traded, you have some turf toe that you're battling the couple years before.
You did your homework. Look at you.
Bro, hey, listen, man. You're Marshall Faulk. Like I grew up in Missouri. Like you're on the Madden cover, seeing the jerseys transition to navy blue and gold. Like you're Marshall Faulk. So yes, I know a little bit about you. But tasting the business for the first time, like walk us through that. Like, cause you're drafted second overall. Like you're the man. And then all of a sudden you get traded for a couple picks to St. Louis. Like talk about that relationship and kind of seeing the business for what it is with Indianapolis.
Yeah, I was ready for a change, and I think Indianapolis they were as long as because my last year there in '98, I almost did 1,000. Like I was like we sucked, but I had an amazing year. I almost did 1,000.
Yeah,
and we only won like 3 or 4 games, so I was putting in work. But what they realized was that people were still following me. I was the leader, and they wanted it to be Peyton's team. So moving me kind of took a security blanket away from Peyton, which actually allowed him to grow up because the next year they went 13-3, and he took charge of the team. That was kind of his leadership way. But for me, that happened. But in the move, accepting the fact that it was time to go. And it's kind of like I kind of needed it in a sense because when you walk into a new locker room and there's guys and it's like you got traded, you got this big contract, they looking at you, you looking at them, and it's like who the hell is this guy? Who does he think he is? And you go from a locker room to where you're proven to a locker room where you have to prove yourself, and it puts you back, like it gives you that edge back. I got that edge back, and I was like, okay, I like this. I gotta earn their respect before they believe I can lead them. And if you accept it like that, then the business is easy to deal with.
Gotcha.
How long did it take you to earn that respect in your mind? I mean, obviously it was extremely established. I'm sure it didn't take very long, but
I mean, the boys won the Super Bowl.
It actually took. I'm gonna tell. I'll be honest. It took a few games. I'm gonna tell you. We were. I think we were 6-0, and I barely touched the ball, and I had not won games in the NFL without touching the ball that much. Mm-hmm. Like I think the first game I touched the ball 12 times. The next game like 13, maybe 15. But I think we were 6-0, 5-0 or 6-0, and we're in Tennessee. We're playing the Titans, and they're giving us the business. Yeah,
it's a real ball club right there.
They're giving us the business,
established ball club, like, a hard-nosed ball club.
I'm just telling you. We go into the locker room. I go to Mike Marks. I say, Mike, I understand you being judicious. Just come to me. And so we come out. The first like 5 or 6 plays, the ball goes to me. We score. And so I kind of took over the game. Mm-hmm. We were down like 21, maybe 3. And we ended up tying it up 24-24. And they got the ball, drove down and kicked the field goal in overtime. But they had not seen, like I literally took over the game. Mm-hmm. And that's when they were like, okay, like, all right, we see who this guy is.
Right.
Before that, I was just like, I was coasting. I hadn't really taken over a game or played up to my potential because I was just a part of the offense. I was doing, 5, 8, 10 yards, 20 yards, score a touchdown here. We didn't need to dominate, but like I was like, Mike,
feed the boy.
Like,
yeah.
Have you always been a guy that's like, hey, give me the ball, or was that a new thing for you to do to kind of like? That takes a lot of nuts to go in there and talk
that was always my personality was. Like if we're going to win if I have the ball. That's like if I'm getting the ball, we are going to win. That's like that was always my personality.
That's like a standard textbook personality trait of a skill position guy that you need.
Probably so.
You need that. Like AJ Brown, playing with him with the Titans, like he was a guy that like he's not getting a lot of catches. He's like, do y'all want to win or not? Like you need to give me the football.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys can look at that as like selfish guy, not thinking about the team, but like you want dudes to have that kind of confidence and that kind of like
have that edge.
Have that edge of being like, I can truly make a difference any point in the game at any time.
Yeah, I went about it a little different because, I mean, I play with Ice Bruce, Torrey Holt. So yeah. I was always like, Mike, look, no problem. Like we start the game, you throw it, no problem. But when it get real, like, hey.
You know where to go.
Hey.
Yeah.
like when he know when I start looking at him like, hey.
Yeah.
Like,
let's get going.
Score a little too close.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it like playing with Peyton just coming into?
It was fun, man. It was fun. It was fun. Like watching him learn the game. Because he had all the attributes, but the speed of the game was just a little different. Like your first year for a quarterback, it's moving fast, like faster than you ever thought. And he threw a bunch of interceptions. And I mean, we used to walk off, and he used to, I just didn't think the guy could get there. Oh, I didn't think the guy could get there. And then one time I was just like, hey, Peyton, it's the NFL. Everybody can get there.
Yeah.
Like it's a little different, man. All these dudes are dudes, man. They were at some point in time, they were the best person on a team.
Yeah.
All of these dudes in the league, like they're dudes.
With obviously that rookie year throwing all those interceptions, did you expect him to have the career that he ended up having?
Oh yeah, you could see it.
You knew it immediately
because it was all like every mistake was a new mistake, and he didn't make the same mistake twice. Once he made that mistake, he filed it away. Never made the mistake again.
I love that.
Let's dive into the greatest show on turf. Talk about that year. We have a Tennessee Titan, Nashville native.
You want a hug?
A yard and a half.
You want a hug?
Hey, Jack, give him a hug.
Jack, give him a hug. It's okay.
That newspaper shot reaching.
I'll give you a hug.
No, talk about that year, man, and the rise of the St. Louis Rams.
It was literally, I remember being in that locker room, from the start of the season, and I think it was Keith Lowell, Todd Light. They say, why not us? Like, why not us? Literally, like, why not us? Why can't we dominate the league? And everybody was like, huh. And like that literally started. You could see guys, because the Rams had a lot of good draft picks, but they just couldn't put the pieces together. And it was because they had drafted with Orlando Pace, Grant Renstrom, Isaac Bruce, Todd Light. Like all of these dudes are first rounders. Like they had guys that were still on the team that could play. And it just hadn't happened for them. But the willingness to just buy in, and we started this thing with celebrating as a team. Like it started in practice. It didn't matter who caught the touchdown. We were going to celebrate as a team. It didn't matter who got the sack. We were going to celebrate as a team, and that started to feed into the identity. And then we had this special teams coach that was like, he was the best I'd ever heard get people ready to play. I mean, and he used to use a lot of war analogies. And
those are the best ones.
And ask guys to go and tell them what to do. And it used to get people so fired up. I mean, I didn't even play special teams. I sat in the special teams meetings just to hear him talk.
No shit.
And he, man, Frank Gans was like, he was one of the best special teams coaches to ever play. And in that mantra of us, everybody was like, we got to go to work if we want to do this. And that became our whole thing. Got to go to work. Got to go to work. Got to go to work. Got to go to work.
Mm-hmm. When you guys are feeling the juice, you're celebrating the team and everything. Like, when did that, like, all right, the momentum is in our favor right now. When did it turn into, legit, we could win a Super Bowl this year?
After we lost to Tennessee, the next week of practice, how we showed up. I had been a part of teams that lost games and showed up like it was nothing. Guys showed up pissed, mad, like working hard. You could see that the linemen, like O-line, D-line, they were in fights with each other. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the I'm doing defensive scout team or offensive scout team and I'm just getting in your way. It was like they were trying to kick each other's butt. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, these dudes hungry, man. Mm-hmm. And you could start to see it. And we I think right after that we played the Niners, and the Rams hadn't beat the Niners in like 11 times. And we blew them out, like literally blew them out. And that's when it was like, there's something here. There's literally something here.
Mm-hmm. Then having that pissed off team after losing to the Titans, how hungry were you guys to play them again in the Super Bowl?
we couldn't have had a better opponent. Literally, could not have had a better opponent.
Damn,
Came
Jack.
down to the last play,
Could
too.
not have had a better opponent, man. It was like, if you go back and watch the game that we played them in Tennessee, like that game was just as hard fought as the Super Bowl. And to watch the effort of Eddie George and the late Steve McNair, like the effort, like if watch the last drive, Steve McNair is leaving it all out there. I'm talking dog tired. And this dude is finding a way to stay up, fight guys off, complete passes. And,
What was your vibe like on the sideline, seeing him drive down?
Yeah,
and that last play happening.
I'm going to be honest, man. I was so calm because I just didn't think I was like, I knew a little bit about Fisher. I was like, there's no way he goes for 2. Because if they scored, they were tied. But there's no way he was going for 2.
That route was ran wrong. That route, if that depth was just a little bit more.
Oh yeah,
that's a touchdown.
Oh, yeah. That's it though.
Mm-hmm.
The discipline of the game is sometimes all the times is why you win or lose. The discipline and how you do stuff.
Mike Jones.
Yeah,
he's the one who had that final tackle. You also play with. I got to play with him.
Hold on, stay on the Super Bowl. Because
go ahead.
I played for the Titans. 2019, we're 2 quarters away from going to a Super Bowl. Tell me that feeling of running out of the tunnel for a Super Bowl to literally achieve a world championship. That moment, is it,
man?
Because you obviously extremely successful. You've literally done everything you can possibly do as a football player, but the opportunity to achieve the holy grail of a team sport. What is that? Was that moment massive, or was it how hard was it to stay kind of composed, just running out of the tunnel, knowing win or lose, this is the last game of the year and this is a legacy deal?
I didn't even try to stay composed.
Smart.
What I did was I allowed whatever was going to happen, and that I was going to be able to gather myself and play the game. That's literally when I ran out of the tunnel. I was so hyped, I started hyperventilating. I had to go to the sideline and get some oxygen. I was so excited because as a kid, my friends, and I'm from New Orleans. We're playing in Atlanta. I got so many people at the game. People that spent their last to get there because they grew up,
you spent that whole Super Bowl check trying to get everybody in there.
And I'm thinking about my boys when we, as kids, every time, it didn't matter what the score was. Oh shit, the street lights coming on. We got to get home. This play is to win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I get a chance. Man, you crazy. I was not going to hold anything back. And, by the time when I ran out, I'm amped. And I wore myself out. I'm sitting on the bench. I'm like, I got to catch my breath.
Yeah.
Came a long way from not coming off the field in high school.
Literally, I started the game off tired. And it took, I had to catch my second win just to go out and play. That's how much adrenaline is going through your body to play that game.
Man, what a moment that would be.
Bro. You're the MVP that year too, right?
No, that was Kurt's.
That was Kurt. You were second to Kurt,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's wild. Kurt Warner's number 1.
So
Running
3
back
years
is
in a
number
row.
2.
So Kurt won, I was second. I won, he was second. Kurt won, I was second. 3 years in a row.
To a guy who was filling grocery bags.
Hey, man. The best grocery bagger in the business.
No question.
Best grocery
Details.
bagger in the
Hey, man.
The eggs were never on the bottom. He knew what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
What was it like playing with him?
Hey, best man I know, man. I tell people all the time. I'm talking not just football player, but person. You meet him, so authentic. And just enjoyed playing with him. He only got upset with himself. It didn't matter who was yelling at him. He maintained who he was, and he always stayed in his person and who he wanted to be, like a man of faith.
Yeah.
Always.
Not going back to back. Spygate, Patriots taking it from us, from the Rams.
From us.
St. Louis Rams.
You were a Cowboys fan.
I was a
growing up,
Cowboys fan, but you're still when the city team wins, as a kid, you're on that bandwagon. You know what I mean? Marshall Faulk was on the cover of Madden. You pretended to be guys like Marshall Faulk, Terrell Davis, Eddie George out in the front yard. But back to the question of not getting that back-to-back Super Bowl against the Patriots. Talk about that.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. for a while, I hung on that loss more than I did the win. And you just you got to let it go. You literally let it go, and that's easy to do when you play sports. You don't really know how to really maintain what you need in order to enjoy the wins. It's so much easier to go down and be pissed off about the losses. Mm-hmm. So much easier, because it becomes fuel to your fire. You use it to like get stuff done. Really when you're the best, you're like, oh, I'm gonna work out harder. It's like it's harder to work out harder when you're the best. It's easier to work out harder when there's some adversity or something's up against you. And so, I really had to like work on like, man, I gotta let this go. Like I enjoyed winning the Super Bowl more than I did losing the Super Bowl. Mm. Why am I not talking about this as much?
Yeah. Do you feel like there's any truth to the Spygate?
Hey man, look. I mean,
that's a yes.
Let's just say this. It's not one Spygate. It's two Spygates. There's all kinds of stuff that it's. But in this business of professional sports, Al Davis used to say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, man. And some people, you find that you find a way to get it done. And in the game, in between the lines, it ain't holding if they don't call it.
Right. Yeah, but spying.
If they don't call it, they got to call it.
Right.
The league has to throw the challenge flag on itself.
Yeah.
And they ain't never doing that.
Yeah.
We're not going to be baseball. Remember that. Baseball got some tainted. League ain't doing that.
No, they're not.
You're not going to see no asterisk by any Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Trust that.
When you come back to it, obviously you didn't play in Las Vegas for a Super Bowl, but you're during Super Bowl week. Like, is there a piece of nostalgia every time you come back?
Oh yeah,
and do all this stuff.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Just the memories of, because when you're like, so when I was in the league, I would not come to a Super Bowl until I played in one, or until I won one. So I never came until then. I came in '94. And then I didn't come again until after '99, until after the 2000 season. So you're always wondering when you're playing, like, what's happening? What's going on out there? Mm-hmm. What's happening?
Yeah. And
now being on this side of it, I'm always thinking about, like, man, what are they talking about? Like, what are they game planning? What's the scheme? Like the guys, what are they planning on? Because you talk about how much you're going, man, after we win this, here's what we going to do. After we win, I can't wait. Like, you're manifesting your destiny. Mm-hmm. And so you're talking about it. You can see it. And that's why when you lose, it hurts so much.
Yeah.
Dude, there's obviously a lot of passion in your voice. Like, where did you get this championship mindset? Has it always been since you were a young child, or did it have to develop over a process of elimination, of trying new things and kind of having to pivot this mindset, this way, this body of work is not working for me right now? Like, where did you get to what we're seeing right now?
When you're the youngest, and because of age, size, or whatever, you don't get the win, mm-hmm. it burns in you. Like basketball is my first sport, and my brothers, they all played basketball. And my two brothers that were really good, when I got big enough, they wouldn't play me, so they didn't want to lose to me. So it's literally just a competitor in me.
Yeah.
I compete at everything. Everything that I do, I compete. And I'm always competing against myself. I'm just trying to get better. I'm trying to live life better. I'm trying to be a better human every day.
There's got to be with football players or anybody who plays a sport in general, there's got to be like this insane competitiveness about you in every facet. Like, I feel like it doesn't leave any part of your life. Like, what about it? What now are you like the most competitive in?
Probably golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big golfer.
I love golf. It's the most mentally challenging thing that I've ever done in my life. Like, it's, I've never been so mad and disappointed in myself for not being able to mentally focus at something mm-hmm. that doesn't hit back. It's like, it's crazy.
If you could play somebody, a celebrity in golf, just to know that you could beat them, who would it be?
To know that I can beat.
Not know that you could beat them, but if you wanted to prove yourself, like a guy like Michael Jordan, we know he plays all the time.
Like Tiger. Like I would like to play Tiger in a match and beat.
You think you beat Tiger?
I'm saying I would like to play Tiger in a match
I feel like when you guys
and beat him. You
just think Tiger.
Come on, man. Like really?
Have you seen the clip? There's a Barstool podcast called Foreplay, and they did a long drive competition with Tiger. Have you seen that clip?
Yeah.
And he's on his knees.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Outdrives him.
Outdrives him. Yeah. That is just crazy.
Do you got any good? I got to play with London Fletcher like his last year.
Fletch.
Dude, do you have any good London Fletcher stories? Because you was with him when he was young, like undrafted. Like he always had this look in his eye. He kept it his entire career. But do you have any good London Fletcher stories?
So the best. This is my best. I don't know if we named him .com.
.com.
Like LondonFletcher.com. So we started calling him .com. But here's how I met London. I was on the Colts, and we had a joint practice because Jim Moore, he and Dick Vermeil, they coached together at UCLA. So we meet at Champaign, Illinois, and we have a joint practice. All right? And we get ready to do one-on-ones. And like the starting linebacker comes up. I don't remember who it was, and I came up, and I come out the backfield. I run a route, catch the ball. Then we move to the other side. I come up. The other starting linebacker came up, caught the ball on him. And then it's time for me to go again. And the linebacker that's up is like wearing number 66. And I turn around. I'm like, can y'all get somebody else in here? And it was London. Yeah. It was London because it was his rookie year. And he was like, you don't want to go against me. You don't want to go against me. I'm like, look, man, I ain't trying to get hurt messing with no rookie. All right? All right? And 2 years later, I'm playing with him. And we line up. And he reminded me, he was like, hey, I know you don't know this, but I was number 66 when we were in camp. I said, okay.
Did he ever strap you in one-on-ones?
Oh, no, never. No, he couldn't. No. But, you know, pass pro.
A linebacker, back, such a cheat
right,
code, man.
Right,
like,
pass pro, meet him in the A-gap, catching him off the edge.
Yeah.
He won his battles there. You know, I put up a good fight, and I'm supposed to lose that. I'm just supposed to occupy your time. That's
right.
I'm not supposed to win. I'm just supposed to get in your way.
Yeah.
Right, die a slow death.
Yeah, but one-on-one, he no chance. I told him, I said, listen, here's the reality ain't whether I'm going to catch the ball. The reality is you're not going to touch me. Like in this drill, me winning is whether you touch me or not.
Has there been a linebacker to strap you, whether it's in a game?
Oh yeah. It's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's happened many a times. But like we're talking situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it's third and I gotta win, whatever that is, it ain't happening. Now you can catch me on second down, you can probably catch me, but if we're calling a play and this play it's third and this, and they're calling my route or a play to me, unless they double team me, and take me out and make the quarterback not throw it to me, I'm winning. That was like guaranteed.
I mean, you were like known for the Faulk route coming out of the backfield, running vertical. I know that was absolute hell for any linebacker to have to do. Just cover Marshall out of the backfield.
Listen, what are you thinking about? You're like, okay, is he going to break in? Is he going to break out?
Right.
And the minute he runs by you, you're like, oh.
Are you strap him down?
Marshall?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get him every now and then.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have my day. I'm gonna have
9 out of 10 times I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna guess right at some point. I'm gonna guess right at some point.
The other time I fell down.
I'm gonna guess. I'll have to guess, but I'll guess right at some point. And then that's when I'll stop playing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, Marshall. Get somebody else there. I'm not trying to get hurt against somebody like you. Dude, you were talking earlier about always wanting to be the running back, like never leave the field, be that guy at all times. Talk about like when Steven Jackson was coming in and you start splitting carries and splitting reps in the later part of your career. Like, how was that for you?
So the story is different than that. When they drafted Steven, I had a conversation because Steven and I, we had the same agent. And I said to Steven, I said, look, here's the reality. And I told Mike, I said, here's the reality. If you want the job, you got to beat me out. I'm not giving it to you. Like, I'm not you have to take this job. And I told him, I said, the only reason why that's the case is in this huddle, the best guy gonna be here for these dudes. And so if you beat me out, you're the best guy. That's it. But I knew I think I was like 32, and I was like, I couldn't play whole games anymore. I needed to kind of split time a little bit. I wasn't the back I was.
Right.
I once was. So it was good. He learned a lot. I sat down with him and went over film and talked about, here's what I see, here's what I'm thinking, this is my pre-snap read, whatever I could teach him, I taught him.
Yeah.
Just in, not like taking him under my wing, just I want, when he's in there, I want him to have what I have and how I see things for the other 10 guys in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was awesome, man. He never, I mean, you're early pick. You're playing behind, guys in his 11th, 12th year.
Right.
And it's like, shit, you can't win the job. That could mess with your confidence,
Yeah.
Like that started to
It's
mess
a young
with
man's game.
Yeah, that started to mess
Right.
with your confidence. And the only thing that kept me in the game was because, like the mental side of the game. Mentally, I didn't make many mistakes. And when your mind is sharp and you can not make mistakes and you can be efficient with carries, always get positive yards, although you don't hit the home run the way you used to, and you can't do all the things as you used to do, you can still be effective.
How was that process when you started to figure out, okay, I can't hit the home run, I am losing a step, like Father Time is starting to catch up with you?
Denial.
100%, right?
Oh yeah, you're in denial.
When did that denial turn into acceptance?
Maybe the season before my last, so the 12th year. I had a series of games that, I never got tackled by the first guy, and so it happened probably 3 or 4 games where single guy ran up on me, I put a move on him and he got me, and I was like, man, You're thinking like, that was a good tackle. He barely got my leg. Right. He hit my leg and it hit my other foot.
Yeah.
And those are things that first guy wouldn't even touch me.
Right. Just a few years before.
And now, and now I'm getting tackled by the first guy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was like, that's like a wounded animal out there. I'm like, listen, there's blood in the water. There's no way. I talk too much smack when I play. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be out here and I can't make the first guy miss. Mm-hmm. I'm in trouble.
You were a shit talker on the field?
Oh yeah.
Who's some of the best shit talkers you went against?
Johnny Rando, Rodney Harrison, Strahan talked all day. Sapp. Oh, my God. Sapp wouldn't shut up. Sapp would not shut up. Yeah.
It's impressive to see a big guy that doesn't shut up.
Yeah.
He can kind of motor around that much and keep the jaw sets going the whole time.
Right.
Sapp was the one. And he had an issue with this guard that we had, Frankie Garcia. And he talked smack to him the whole game. Called his name out every time we was in, Frankie, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming. Frankie, look at me.
Anything you're saying to Frankie, like,
hey, Frankie, it's okay, brother. We're here for you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the first time it happened,
he
was like, Frankie, and Frankie I'm looking this way. Frankie's back is to Sapp, and I say, Frankie, he talking to you.
Oh shit,
Frankie, you got to do something, Frankie.
Frankie, stand up for yourself, Frankie.
I know you hear him.
He talking to you.
And offensive linemen, a lot of those dudes are soft-spoken cats. Was he a talker? Was Frankie a talker? Or was he kind of keep to
Frankie
himself?
Didn't have nothing to say.
Frankie's a kill him with kindness kind of guy, huh?
Something happened. Frankie was playing somewhere else, and him and Sapp, something happened.
Yeah,
and they had issues. And when that's when anytime Sapp played him, regardless of who he was playing on, he got after him.
Damn, that's a bad guy to have on your back.
How do you feel like the game has gotten softer since your guys' era?
I wouldn't say softer. They're playing smarter now. In playing smarter, what they've done is unfair to defense. You know, guys are running across the middle like they're Bambi. They can't be touched. They trying to play brave, like you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, stop running across the middle, and you're gonna get up talking smack to somebody because they can't hit you unless you look at them. Like if I always say if I duck, that means I saw you.
Yeah.
So that creates helmet to helmet. More helmet to helmet contact happens when a guy ducks. You're a linebacker, you're going in, he ducked, bam, helmet to helmet, flag on you.
Right.
They put too much of this responsibility on the defensive guy. The quarterback throwing the ball, not protecting his receiver. The offensive coordinator calling these plays, putting these guys in these kamikaze situations. None of them are responsible.
And giving a lot of interpretation up to the referee.
Yeah.
Putting them in a difficult position.
Yeah.
To
and listen, any hit that looks bad, they got to throw a flag.
Got to.
They have to.
Yeah. What were your guys' off seasons like? I'm trying to remember because we had Allstott on, and he was talking about, you know, how the union, how it shifted. We asked for all this off time and stuff like that. Like, what were your guys'? How long were your guys' off seasons? Like, when did you have to report? When say your last game was in January.
Yeah. So last game in January. Let's say February, we started off-season conditioning. And right after the draft, off-season conditioning would be from February until the beginning of April. And then you would leave after April. You come back right after the draft and do the first mini camp. They'd have if you were first or second year guy with the rookies, you do that mini camp. And then the next week, they'd have the vets would come and you do another mini camp with the vets and the rooks. And camp was 6 weeks long.
Damn, man, we do
Yep.
have amazing.
Soft. And not even talking about 2 days.
Oh yeah.
Had to practice 2 days.
Not for real 2 days.
Yeah, I was gonna say
not like
helmets only 2
Yeah.
days.
Like my rookie year, a 2-day would be like practice in the morning with pads, a little jog through in the afternoon.
Yeah. Nah, we were full strap 10 days in a row.
Full tackle too.
Tackle to the ground.
God, we all soft.
Sure yardage and goal line, like live.
Now, when you were Marshall Faulk, MVP Marshall Faulk, were you having to participate in all the 2 days?
I still did it. Yeah, I still did it.
Yeah, we're different.
Because that was, I always, my conditioning was how I beat people. When we got to the fourth quarter, I know you didn't work as hard as me. I knew it. There's no way you worked as hard as me. No way.
What was it like? You had the skill positions like yourself. You mentioned Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce. Was all your guys' work ethics just sickening, like you're explaining?
Yeah, we pushed each other. Like in conditioning, like we raced, we pushed each other. Like some of the stuff you saw in games wasn't even close to what we did in practice. Like if you thought the greatest show on turf, and if you watch some of the practices, unbelievable, just unbelievable.
The joint practices today are like the worst. It's like a war. I can't imagine what they were like when you played.
Now in today's game, that's all they have to do. They understand if they get in a fight, practice over.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but it's also like
wrong.
there's not a whole lot of rules too at the same time. Like there's not. If you get in a little scuffle, like you don't have to worry about penalties. Guys are playing a lot harder and a lot dirtier. I feel like joint practices are actually more difficult than games, to an extent.
Yeah, I don't know. Like for us, a joint practice was easier than our practice.
Solo?
Yeah, because a joint practice, I'm going against somebody who don't know me. When you're going against somebody, when you practice against somebody who know what you do every damn day, you know how hard that is to defeat him.
Yeah,
every day. It's like
to learn everything.
When you the team you got to play in your division, you got to play them twice. That second time you play them, it's hard. And if you play them a third time, you're like, we beat them twice. Can we beat them again? It's hard. But now you get to go up against another team that's like, oh man, this is cake. This guy don't know my tricks.
Right. Playing make a lot of relationships in football, obviously. Give me your top 3 teammates of all time. Doesn't have to be best players, just the boys you like hanging out with the most.
Todd Light, Torrey Holt, and who else? Oh, a guy that so this is funny. So my backup in college was my backup in the pros.
For real?
Yeah, a guy named Justin Watson.
How'd he get to the NFL playing behind you? Like if you say you never come off the field.
It just happened.
No way.
Was he
just
younger
happened.
than you? And
Yeah.
then like you leave, he has a year,
Yeah.
he's doing it. Okay. Okay.
Gosh, yeah. That
Yeah, I
makes
left.
sense.
So he was my backup. I left. He had 2 years. He was in camp with the Chargers. He was in camp with the Chargers. Was on their practice squad for 2 years, and then got picked up when I got traded to the Rams.
You got any good your best post Super Bowl memory in that next week 2 span after you guys winning the title?
Oh man, just everywhere I went. I think I spent the week down in Miami, South Beach, rented a yacht, like just
The boys just on a bender.
yeah. I mean, you got to remember, I never won anything in football. Like I never won anything in football, man.
They say, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I won a championship in basketball, baseball. I won state running track. I never won a championship in football. And the first championship I win in football is in the NFL. I lost my damn mind.
And that yacht must have been going crazy too.
Most money you spent in a night? Or in a day?
So I was a smart partier. You know, I didn't always take it on. I always had teammates with me. So we split the bill. we always split the bill. So
No credit card roulette or nothing like that?
I mean, that happened a couple of times.
Yeah, but
that
just make
happened.
sure you didn't get got.
Yeah, I mean, you don't make sure. You know, I mean, it's happened. It's happened.
What's the heaviest bill you've seen?
One of the trips we took to Vegas.
Oh shit!
Marshall!
What up, my man?
What the fuck?
What's
How
up,
you
my
doing,
man?
I had to come to you, man.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, bro?
Flavor Flav, man.
How we doing?
Good seeing you, man.
Good
We
to
saw
see
you
y'all,
in
too.
saw him in Michigan, right?
Yeah, Michigan versus Nebraska a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no doubt. I had to come in here and score my own version of a touchdown.
Dude.
Right here. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm
Everything
good.
good?
No complaints, man.
I mean to interrupt what
No
you was
complaints.
doing,
No
man.
interruption.
I gotta break out, man. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to come spread some love, man. And I'll probably see you later on tonight.
Let's do that.
Okay?
My man.
My man. Excuse the interruption.
You're good. Welcome to Bussin' with the Boys, man.
Hey.
Y'all take care. God bless you.
Yeah.
See you in a few, Marshall.
Right on, man.
Hey, I did see him in the back there. I saw that chain. I was like, is that?
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flavor
behind.
Flav just jumping in.
Hey, what a way to end the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know Flavor Flav?
Oh man.
Yeah, you Super Bowl winner, you can see whatever.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. He was on that yacht.
Just him popping in, yeah.
Hey man. Me and Flav, we go back, man. That dude's a pioneer, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta love some Flav.
Who's
No
the
doubt.
first dude you were starstruck by?
Him.
Um,
Flavor of love.
probably I was in college. I just like bursted onto the scene my freshman year the next year, and I went up to LA to watch Martin, and to get to meet Martin Lawrence. You know, like in the time when he was doing Martin. Oh man, I was just like, you know, I wasn't into all the whole Hollywood thing.
Yeah.
But to see like, you know, most actors play somebody else, but Martin is Martin. Like Martin is Martin Lawrence. So you getting to see the dude be himself.
Yeah.
It was just like, damn, this dude is Martin, man. He was like the first star that I met.
How about, I'll flip it. Who was the first dude who you weren't necessarily starstruck by, but you're surprised that they were super, like knew who you were or was starstruck by you?
I'm trying to
You're
think.
like, oh man, this dude, he knows who I am.
Someone comes up there, like, I'm a big fan of you. You're like, bro, you're you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Charles Woodson in here earlier. He's like, oh yeah, Bussin' with the Boys. I'm just
Nah,
like, bro, Charles, what?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Like we got a call. I'm trying to think. I think it was Jay-Z. We got a call because he wanted a jersey. He wore it in the video. He's in a like he wearing a bunch of videos. This was like, you know, late 90s Jay, maybe early 2000 Jay. One of my jerseys is in his video.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Sick,
like I was like, me? Like my jersey? You know, cats from New York, they don't want no they don't wear no outsider's jersey. When you're from New York, they wearing all New Yorker stuff.
Man, that's awesome.
That is sick. Anthony, should we ask him anything before we leave? Before we head out? Is he still in here?
No.
Oh,
the plug question. It's already fine.
Absolutely. I guess so many of these texts.
No. Okay.
All right, we have. Before we let you go, talk about a drug-free world.
Yeah, man. I know we've been having some good times here, but as you guys see, like I went and talked to some high schoolers, and these kids, man, they have no idea. They have no idea fentanyl and drugs, what's going on, and they're curious. And a lot of the times, as you know, we were kids. The minute your parent or somebody say don't do, what do? You do.
Curious, yeah.
And we've just taken a different approach. I tell people, go to drugfreeworld.org. We're not going to tell you to say. We're not going to tell you no. We're not going to tell you to don't do. We're going to tell you educate yourself. Like just like you use Google, go to our site, get the information. Don't let your friend tell you this drug made me feel like this, and then you try it and you die.
Right.
Or something crazy happens. Literally, we have educator kits, information, anything and everything under the sun that you would need just to understand before you try it what's out there for you. So,
what got you into that?
I grew up around drugs. And listen, I made it to the Hall of Fame and I wasn't the best player on my team in high school. I wasn't the best player in my community.
I mean, you seem like you played every position. I would almost assume that you were probably the best player in your team.
I wasn't.
You guys won 6 games.
I wasn't, bro.
You guys won 6 games. You played every position.
I'm telling you, man. The best guy sometimes didn't show up. You know, he was cool. He was smoking weed. He was cool. He was, you know, and then eventually, you know, that guy was the guy. You know, after my rookie year, I go back home. He's the guy on drugs. You know, it's like, so, you know, what do you do? What do you do? How you let people know? I believe the best way to let people know is by educating them and giving them the opportunities to like, hey, at your own liberties, go to the site, drugfreeworld.org, get the information, make the right decision.
Was it just like an area that just touched you to be like, I want to like get in this space, or was there any?
I was always in the space. I grew up around it.
Yeah.
I grew up around it. You know, it has touched me deeply. You know, I've lost many friends. I've had family members partake and have issues, you know, and recover, you know, to live a better life. But everybody don't make it.
Right.
Everybody don't make it.
How, you know, in your experience, do you approach conversations like that with somebody close to you that you would, you know, it's like you want to immerse yourself into their world and try to help them out, but you struggle like bridging that gap? For people that are like watching right now, I think of a couple situations in my circles where you're just trying to find the lane of like getting them the help they need. I guess without like being like forcing yourself onto them. Mm-hmm. Like in your experience, like what advice would you have with that?
What I say is, and what I'm always trying to do is, anything that we find ourselves needing in life, you got to find out why. Like, well, why do I like that? Why do I need to do this? What is this masking? Because it's masking something. Mm-hmm. And if you can get down to the core, then you can solve the problem. And the reality is, they might not want the problem solved. Mm-hmm. They might like how they live their life. And when that's the case, then you got to back off, because until they are ready, it's not going to happen. You can't make it happen for them. I can't make it happen for them. They have to be ready.
Yeah, that's like the hardest part, right?
It is.
Yeah, just trying to get somebody to get out of their own way.
Mm-hmm. And like backing up when you're just like, you care about somebody and you're,
Yeah. Because anytime that type of situation where you're dealing with somebody that's using or abusing, it's like you want to help them, but usually with people that are abusing something, when you go and approach them with that situation, it's usually met with resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends up in a kill the messenger type of situation.
Yeah. Do you go around and speak a lot?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the idea is that it's just street drugs. It's not just street drugs.
Mm-hmm.
There's some prescription drugs that's out here.
Man, prescription drugs are a whole nother ball game. Like, playing, obviously, you get in there, they give you a couple pills, like, hey, this is going to make you feel a whole better. You take it, and you're like, oh, I get it. I understand why people get addicted to these things and their lives
easily
end up getting ruined because it is, it's a deal.
It is.
It's a bit of a deal.
It's awesome that you go and do that too. Like you were obviously pivotal and influential on the field, first ballot Hall of Famer. And so you have influence beyond that. And it's really cool to hear that you go around and speak and try to, advise and mentor and speak to kids because you're Marshall Faulk, bro. You are Marshall Faulk.
Got to use the platform for, other than just making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to make a difference too in this world, man.
No question, man. Hey,
Last one. Hang on. Right before he goes, first ballot Hall of Famer. What was it like? That knock on your door, however it happened. Were you expecting, or in your head, are you like, I am a first ballot Hall of Famer, so let's see how this shakes up?
So I'm going to tell you the story, all right? It's just a true story. But this was before the knock. This is like you gathered with your family and friends. They announced it. They brought you to the Super Bowl, and then you would go meet somewhere, and they would do like a press conference wherever that was for the people that decided to come. And I was so sure. Like I was like, there's no way that I'm not getting in. No way. That's all I kept thinking. And my agent did a deal with Anheuser-Busch, being that it was in St. Louis at the time, headquarters. And at the Bud Light Hotel, when Bud used to be, when Anheuser-Busch when Bud was the beer, Bud Light was the beer at the NFL, they had a hotel, like the bottom floor. We packed it with 200-300 people that's there, and we're watching. And I'm standing, and as they come on and they're getting ready to call the names, the first time ever I thought, what if they don't call my name? I'm standing there like, what if they don't call my name?
Like, we just got all these people here. We're at the Bud Light
people
Hotel.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think back, I'm like, man, that's like somebody saying no or running away at the altar.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what if they don't call my name?
You start looking tactically, like at all the exits, like where's the easiest way out of here if they don't call my name?
Yeah.
Try to figure out.
Yep. And then, man, like 3 names in, they said my name. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I got in your head too much.
Oh man. And from there, literally, they wherever you're at, because you got to tell them where you're going to be. Car pulled up, take me to the place where they're doing the interview. And on the ride, like your football life is literally playing in your head, from your little league coach, your high school coach, things that people taught you, things like how many people had been on this journey with you to end up, in this place. Like, hold on, wait. Like there's, at the time, like there's only 275 of these guys, and I'm one of them. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, man.
Like that like it starts to dawn on you, regardless of how confident you are. You look at it like, damn, like that's pretty damn neat.
Mm-hmm.
It's forever.
Yeah. That's awesome. And that's it. Like in reality, that's all we want to do is be remembered. Like,
right.
And now to know, forever generations can go identify with me as their relative, or like that's, and there's a place.
Yeah, Canton, Ohio. Man, thank you so much. This is
all good, fellas.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been
all
a pleasure,
good.
man.
Awesome time. I appreciate you making the time, man. This is
right on.
Real.
No, Thank
Fun,
you,
man.
That was awesome. Anthony, you was out of here. I was like, Anthony, we got.